So this is episode 8, right?
Episode 8.
We are full on into Revenge of the Jedi. No, the Last of the Jedi. Sorry.
Yes.
There's too many.
There's too many Jedis.
Because there was Revenge of the Jedi, which was actually Return of the Jedi. And then you got Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge
and
of the Nerds.
There's two.
So many people getting revenge.
Inconceivable!
In a world where laughter was king, on the edge of space.
Ludicrous speed! Go!
Get together, have a few laughs.
Masters of the universe!
I haven't seen Revenge of the Nerds in a long time, but
It's been a little while.
it's been a while. That's one of those movies that apparently is in our woke culture. In a woke culture.
Yeah, that's one.
Is not holding up so well.
No, I think because it boils down to there's a rape, essentially.
Yeah, Lewis kind of rapes a person.
Yeah, it's when I was like, that's.
But not until after he sells pies, whipped cream pies,
Yeah.
with her nude
Yeah.
body that they illegally recorded
Yes.
during a panty raid. I can see now why.
Yes.
But it's not necessarily a very woke movie.
Not as woke.
But hey, it was 1984.
You could actively rape, and
then somehow the girl would like you
then
because
she
you
was
sex well.
like, whoa, you're good at rape. Let's do this because you're a good raper.
If you were bad at the sexing, then I like to say sexing.
I like that. It's like a gerund. Is it a gerund or a participle? I'll have to determine later. What part?
Dude, don't dangle your participle here on the
all right.
podcast. Watch your
portion.
participle.
The portion.
This episode of Cinemasters Universe is brought to you by Podcast Juice.
Podcast juice.
Hey everybody, I'm Ron Avis.
And I'm Doug Fisher. Adam Peterson. For tax purposes, Adam Peterson. Sorry.
And we are, of course, Cinemasters, and we are in the Cinemaster Universe.
We are.
Which is not necessarily the Marvel universe.
No.
We're in the podcasting version of that.
Yes, this is a different universe. And we are the Cinemasters of it.
The Cinemasters universe. We got it. We got such a great show for our listeners, plus Mitch.
So prizes and giveaways will not be a part of the show.
No, yes, thank you. God.
They're not going to be.
Immediately backpedaling. No. Like, what do you have? Prizes? A date with Adam here.
Cash and prizes.
Cash prizes.
That is a detriment. If you want a date
No, we don't have any cash prizes.
No.
Please don't promise that. I am broke. We have Rad Dads, which was the end of last episode we talked about. We got, what are we doing at the end? We're doing What You Haven't Seen That?
What You Haven't Seen That.
Yeah, we're doing What You Haven't Seen That. And then, of course, for the main event, we're doing our top 5.
Top foreign films that we've seen. That's what I'm prepared for.
Top black and white Netflix originals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good
no,
thing
we're
I
doing
have
the
that
top
list.
5 animated movies of all time. And
ever.
There's been a lot of animated movies, so I don't necessarily... you know what? There probably will be a tad bit of overlap.
There could be.
That's kind of been a theme of our show. Like, I predict overlap, and then nothing happens.
And then we're not overlapping.
Not at all. So, I'm like, wow, geez, I thought we were, like, on the same level more, but we're not.
Then we're the odd couple.
We couldn't be more different.
We're the odd couple.
What are the odd couple guys' names?
The TV ones or the
Frisk. No, that's not a name.
Frisk. I just
Frisk and Earl, those are the odd couple guys. That's it, right?
Felix Unger and Oscar Madison.
Okay, that's what I said.
Felix is very close to Frisk.
Frisk and Oscar, and
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Felix. That's just another way to pronounce Frisk.
It is.
But no, we're gonna start out with. Hang on.
I believe that's a Canadian pronunciation.
It's Frisky. I apologize, people, but here we go.
No need to apologize.
We're starting out with Rad Dads,
yes.
And if you were listening last episode, and you better have, because
Sorry,
there will
Marley
be a
Matlin.
there will be a test.
She's deaf.
I have done E.T., and Adam, you did
Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane on ice.
The kids loved it.
It is kind of the Citizen Kane of
Rosebud.
kids' ice hockey movies.
It was. It was the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, the Mighty Ducks.
Might be the greatest movie of all time. I think actually.
I know you say that without a hint of irony.
No, I really don't. It's literally the greatest movie ever made.
Just so you know his qualifications, he owns every Shaquille O'Neal movie.
Yeah, I do.
And The Punisher, the '89 version.
Yeah, I do. I own that too. I own a lot of movies.
You have
I got a lot of movies.
I've never seen The Punisher, although for $1, I would pick The Punisher up.
It cost me more than $1.
Cost you more than $1?
It
How much
cost me
did
more
it
than
cost you?
It cost me a little bit of money.
A little bit of money. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I had to.
A pretty penny.
It was an import, I think. I think it may have been an import.
Oh, okay. So it was like a PAL version? A PAL version, as they say?
PAL.
What's PAL stand for?
Please automate life.
PAL.
It's the robots are telling us what we should do.
PAL!
PAL.
Are you saying PAL? PAL!
Is he saying PAL or PAL?
No, but I guess I'll start out first. I believe
it.
you led off the last time. So anyway, E.T.
Which
Controversially for you, not a beloved movie.
No.
I think you're the only person on Earth who doesn't not just enjoy E.T. but treasure it.
I would have taken a flamethrower to that E.T. alien. Be like, we're not doing tests. Somebody mop this up.
I mean, he was just like a rubber poop monster.
Oh.
You know, you're watching that movie, and I'm watching the movie, and it was a 4K version of E.T. I should have probably gotten the standard definition version because you really see his movement. And this is after Spielberg like meddled with it a little bit.
Where they took out the guns and they put in walkie-talkies.
Well, they
shoot you with my walkie-talkie.
Was it walkie-talkies or flashlights? I guess they always had the flashlights, but yeah, pretty much that version. But not. No, there might be a couple of different versions because I seem to remember seeing a version where you see E.T. running along a little more naturally instead of just gliding. So maybe I didn't see the Lucas version of E.T. Like, why did you Lucas cut E.T., Steven? Why?
Don't.
Don't.
You're better than that.
They're just going to take Henry Thomas completely out.
I would watch that. I tell you what, you take Henry Thomas, you take that stupid alien out of the movie, then maybe I'll watch it.
Okay. Anyways, my kids adored it. They loved it. And I mean, I knew they would. Allison, who's 3, was a little bit trepidatious when it came to E.T.
That's a good word there.
Thank
I like
you.
that.
Thank you. That's what you call a 10-cent word.
That's the word of the day.
Trepidatious. Trepidatious. Bodega. I want to get that. I wonder if I can pull that effect off.
We could do that.
It's really tricky. I don't know.
I think you could do it.
Like with the Reese's Pieces.
Yes.
Going across.
Ooh, that would be even better.
Trepidatious. Anyway, so she watched the first part of the movie. Well, pretty much all the parts where before it became clear that E.T. was friendly. Because it's kind of creepy at first. You know, like, there's all of the fog, and it's very darkly lit on purpose because you can't put a light on the E.T. monster. You can't light him very well. You have to use all of the shadow techniques and fog you possibly can. No, she was a little bit scared, but it was cute because she was like Gertie's analog. Very similar to Gertie in like the way she reacts. It was cute because she was kind of like she started out, you know, we have a very open living room. It's like, you know, it's the living room and it's the kitchen. It's all very open. And she was kind of watching the first like 15 minutes from behind the kitchen counter. She scooted up closer. She was watching it behind the couch, like kind of next to me. And then by the time Gertie screamed and like realized that E.T. was cool, she was sitting in my lap and was like fully on board. I was really scrutinizing Henry Thomas's performance.
As you should.
I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I don't understand what your problem is with Henry Thomas.
Everything with
Please explain to me why you hate Henry Thomas so much. And in particular, this movie.
You know, you've already sort of brought up Rob Riggle once.
Yes, I did.
And from that same movie, it's like, you know, man, this is great. Everyone seems to love this movie. You know, everything's going on without a hitch. But there's just something about your face. You just need to do something about it.
But he looked like
I'm going
every
to rearrange
80s kid.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. I just that kid.
He was a bit whiny.
They should have got the kid that played Bastion in Neverending Story. I like that kid.
Yeah, that kid was in another 80s flick, wasn't he? He was in Daryl.
He was in Daryl.
Yes, he was in Daryl with a Y.
Yeah.
And I liked him in that too. But I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like, I feel like really not a lot distinguishes Henry Thomas's 80s boy with a lot of other movies.
He's just a stupid butt face. That's all.
Henry Thomas is coming at us hard.
Yeah.
After
Bring
he's
it,
watched
Henry.
it.
Bring it.
Bring it, Henry.
Anywhere, anytime.
Anywhere, anytime. Under my house.
Yes.
Bring it on.
Under
where we have
Ronto.
immaculate cell phone reception.
Immaculate.
The best. I think part of it too is like 80s 80s nostalgia is big in modern day movies. So you see all of the 80s stuff happening in this movie, even though for then, of course, it wasn't, it was just 80s when it came out. If you're used to that aesthetic in a lot of movies, it's right there.
Yep.
So it's not too weird to see like a rotary telephone, like they're ordering a pizza on like an old style phone like that. Like, why aren't you pulling out your iPhone when you ordered that pizza?
You had to call back.
Why
then.
you're even speaking to a live person?
Don't
you could
talk
order
to
it through an
people.
application. So they don't like find that so weird. They laughed at all the funny moments. They got really sad when it looked like E.T. turned into a white dog turd.
Yes.
I hated that part of the movie. Why did they have to make him look like such a dog turd?
Because they just wanted to continue screwing up people's lives.
Go if you don't know what I'm talking about, just like Google image search E.T. dying.
E.T. white dog shit. Google that.
1,000 results right
Yeah.
up top. But it was cute because Logan's similar. He's younger than Elliot in the movie, but he's not too far off from Elliot's age. Allison's a little bit younger than Gertie. And Drew Barrymore was such a cute little kid. Such a cute little kid. If you ever want to just the cutest little kids of all time in the 80s, Google Drew Barrymore and Johnny Carson.
She was quite precocious.
Oh, precocious indeed. Another good word. She was the prototypical precocious little girl.
This is a house of learned doctors.
You have a PhD?
Yes.
Okay, we have a podcasting PhD.
Yes.
And you have to speak like this.
That's what you do with a PhD.
Let's go get our sweaters and tie it around our necks, around our collars.
We can play squash. That's what...
I sound less than like a sophisticated person, and more like someone who had their mouth wired shut.
Yeah,
My impression's getting worse.
it's getting more lockjaw.
Yeah. I apologize.
It's all right.
I'm only
like
good at like Roger Rabbit. That's all I'm
And
good at.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
I like E.T. is really good.
I think you should just start doing the whole thing in Bobcat. I would love that.
Hi, welcome to Cinemasters of the Universe.
Yes.
That was terrible.
Yes.
That was
No,
awful.
it was
I'm most likely going to cut that out of the
No.
podcast.
No.
It's really bad.
I'm going to keep referring back to it throughout the podcast. So if you cut it out, people are like, what is he even talking about?
Oh, you're going to make it that hard for me to cut
Exactly.
out. Remember that time you did Bobcat at the top
You're
of the
just going to
podcast?
edit out me 45 times. Like, why are there so many edits on Evan?
It's not even going to make any sense. Like, you're going to be in the middle of you're going to be talking about your number 2 pick for the top 10 or top 5 movies anime. You're just going to drop it in there.
Yeah, I'm just going to
Damn it.
mid-sentence. I'll be in the middle of describing a movie.
All right, you win. I'll keep it in as
Yes.
much of a jackass as it makes me look like.
I just naturally come off like a jackass.
It's the backwards hat.
Yep.
It's totally
This
the back.
jackass.
Normal guy, jackass.
Yep.
Okay,
I
but
did that on purpose.
so I was a rad dad for E.T. Extra Terrestrial. My kids loved it. I could see them definitely requesting to watch it again. They'll never see it though, because it's not one of those movies that gets played a lot on cable or anything. I don't even remember what premium cable like movie channel service carried E.T. I don't even remember that. I just remember it not being out on video for a very long time, and then Sears of all places had this exclusive, because you know how it used to be back in the day.
Sears was a bastion. 1 second, don't use that word. A bastion of
Bastion from Neverending Story?
This is a different kind of Bastion.
It's a different kind of Bastion. Okay.
Of retail. It was a retail Bastion.
They were a retailing Bastion who got a lot of exclusives to get you into their store, but more so, you just didn't get a lot of, video cassettes in 1983. You couldn't buy a video cassette. Like in the mid to late 80s, certain movies would go on sale for like $24.95 type prices.
You had to tape a lot of stuff off TV.
You did. You had to illegally tape a lot of things. And maybe perhaps it would play on broadcast TV. Like movies of the week used to be a big thing. Like you never get those anymore.
Those 2-part miniseries, like Sunday night, Monday night, you get like the first 2 hours of something.
Oh, you mean like how it kind of like
that. Then they had another one about a giant squid. I think William Peterson was in it. I don't remember the name of it.
Of NCIS fame? No, wait.
Yes. CSI.
CSI. I get all those guys. All those acronyms
letters.
Just completely mixed up.
It's the same letters.
It is kind of, right? They just rearranged them. New show. Bam.
Everybody needs letters to solve crime. No, you don't. You don't need an abbreviation to solve crimes. I solve crimes. 0 abbreviations.
Full. Every
Everything.
word you pronounce. All
Everything.
Completely. What would the name of your crime show be with all the words spelled like completely spoken out?
Adam's crime show of solving crimes and making life amazing for non-criminals.
That would be a really tough one to like acronymate.
Good.
Acriminate? No.
Incriminate.
I don't know what that's completely. I've reversed like everything I got for trepidatious points were struck from my record.
You get those points and they stay.
Oh, they never leave?
You build off those points.
Oh, okay, cool. It's like points in perpetuity?
It's like,
perpetuity.
There you go.
Yes.
Perspicacity.
Perspicacity was he in the Monkees?
That was Peter Tork.
Oh.
And Mickey Dolenz.
Similar.
And Davy Jones.
Davy Jones.
And Michael Nesmith.
I thought he was in that was the Pirates movie.
He was also in those. Okay. Different guy though.
Oh, it was his locker though.
Yes, that was Bill Nighy.
No, he was the squid face.
Yeah.
Like the
squid
puss
full circle.
Going on there everywhere. Yeah. Never look up those clicky like those BuzzFeed articles that shows like what the movie actually looked like before they add special effects, because like that one in particular like sucks.
Disturbing.
It's just like a mask with like dots, I guess, like to record his movements. Learning movie secrets.
It's a waste of your time.
It is.
Because we've already wasted our time doing it. We're trying to save you time.
Babe, wait! Babe! Babe, wait! Babe! 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 Babe, wait! Babe, no! Babe, no! Babe, no! Babe! 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 Babe!
There you go, folks.
So great.
The #1 requested podcast sound effect.
Yeah.
For the Cinemasters.
For everyone. We get
for the 8th show in a row.
We get scads. Scads of fan letters.
Scads of fan letters. I'm going to have to look that word up, I'm afraid.
Scads.
Sounds disgusting.
Scads of fan letters requesting that over and over.
Just overfilling my mailbox.
Yeah. Too much in the mail.
I can't even get to the front door. There's so many bags of fan mail with that particular request. All made out by Mitch.
People are sending us physical mail. They're stamps and everything.
Just gorgeously written calligraphy letters on postcards from Mitch.
From Mitch.
Please play Babe Wait No.
Yep. Over and over and over.
All we're trying to say is maybe you just probably imagined it.
I couldn't have imagined it.
Maybe it was a pervert or deformed kid or something.
A deformed kid.
Maybe an elf or a leprechaun.
It was nothing like that, penis breath.
Elliot!
Without further ado, let's hear your Mighty Ducks experience for Rad Dads.
The Mighty Ducks. It was a pretty huge success.
I bet.
Because the Mighty Ducks is the single greatest movie of all time.
It's Bad News Bears on Ice.
And the biggest difference, Coach Gordon Bombay. Just
like honey off the lips.
Yeah. Just, oh my goodness. I mean, just everything about it. I mean, the kids, they're a youthful bunch of rapscallions.
Lucas. No, one of the Dawson's kids.
Joshua Jackson.
Thank you.
Played Charlie.
Yes. So if you're a Dawson's fan, or if you're a The Skulls fan,
yeah,
you would recognize
The Skulls. Another great property. There were several of those movies.
It was originally intended to be the initial kickoff of the Marvel universe, even though it was not a Marvel property. That was the intention of the film. Thankfully, that was immediately struck down, that idea. But no, anyways, yeah. So he's one of the. Who are some of the other kids? Like this is something I like to do. I'm like totally like screwing up your Rad Dads. Kids who are in these movies that grow up to be like somebody. Are there any other kids that grew up to be sort of stars?
Eldon. What is it? Eldon. Can't remember his last name. He played. He was in Daredevil, the Netflix one. He was Foggy.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, he played the kid with the killer slap shot. Who couldn't
one out of 5. 1 out of 5. He could hit the goal 1 out of 5.
You're right. Yes, it's weird to see him as this like tough.
Yes,
because he kind of plays a little bit of a.
He was a street tough.
He was a street tough.
One of those street toughs.
A 90s street tough.
The kid that played Carp. Mm-hmm. He was also in the movie Heavyweights.
Oh, now he's the kid that could shave as like a little like
That was Goldberg. It was the goalie.
Oh,
he was also in Heavyweights. They were both in Heavyweights.
He's dead, you know.
Is he? Heavyweights?
Yeah, that kid
Tony
died.
Perkis?
He lost a bunch of weight and then I think he died.
Tony Perkis.
By the way, I should probably research these things a little bit better before I just declare it. He's
dead.
Living fine. He's well
Goldberg
and good. He has
dead.
a lovely family. But no, I think he's dead.
My favorite line from Heavyweights?
What's that?
Is Lars when they're doing the little they're exercising outside, they're doing a little back and forth.
Ben Stiller.
And he just goes, "I'm feeling skinny, Tony." I don't know why. I just love that line.
That's a beautifully that movie's so underrated.
Oh, it really is.
I love
it's a
that
great
movie. It's awesome.
Right. I'm feeling skinny, Tony. So much.
It's about a kid. It's about a fat camp.
Fat camp.
These kids get sent to a fat camp, and initially they're we should have saved that for Rad Dads.
Oh,
never mind.
Yeah,
never
we'll
mind.
save that.
Anyway,
You didn't hear any of that.
I could have put my Bobcat in there. Damn it.
You could have.
Heavyweights. That was bad. That was weak sauce. I love it. Please. I saved it with Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
Pee Wee Herman's gonna come later in the show.
Oh, every time.
Okay. Anyways.
I'm
gonna pour those out.
I'm trying to think if there was anyone else in the film that went on to any measure of success.
But that's pretty good. That's a solid. Most of the time those kids either stop acting almost immediately, or they're in pornos.
That later, once they're of age.
Yeah, no, not like right after.
Not right after.
But generally pornos. With Screech and all those. Or they end up in jail.
Dust and Diamond.
Or they become attorneys. One of those things, always, every time.
Every time, without fail.
Money in the bank.
You could take that to the bank.
You could take that to the bank
and put it in the bank. Then it would be money in the bank.
It'll accrue interest.
A small amount. A very small amount.
And after 30, 40 years, you could have made $5.
Yes. If you got a certificate of deposit. A CD. This is where
you worked at a bank. Let's
is the financial investing portion of our.
I love how we sneak in the actual topic. Well, what type of podcast?
Roth IRAs.
Once again, we've tricked you with the ruse of a movie podcast.
Welcome to investing for morons. Because
I need help. That's for me.
Here's what you take all of your money and put it into the Acme company.
Bridges in Florida.
They make a lot of the products that I use.
Oh, I love Acme.
Acme's great.
Their anvils are the best.
When you need to, when you go to the mailbox, and then you put something to Acme in the mailbox, and the little guy on the scooter comes up immediately. I was like, that's what Jeff
Package for Mr. Peterson.
That's what Jeff Bezos is trying to get to. He's got 2-day shipping right now.
Is that what he's leading up to?
He's leading up to this. The guy on the scooter comes directly to you right after you put it in the mailbox.
I would love that so much. That's better than Amazon Prime. I don't even know what that is.
That's Amazon Primo.
Ooh, nice.
They changed the vowel at the end from an E to an O. Primo. And then you get the guy on the scooter comes.
I feel like Primo was a missed opportunity. Like that should have been Primo all along.
I mean, Jeff Bezos, if you're looking for great ideas.
Guaranteed 15 minutes. Package for Mr. Avis.
I got a lot of ideas.
You do. You have a very savvy business acumen for a guy who sits on a couch talking about movies.
Yeah.
For a guy talking about the Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks.
The greatest movie of all time.
The Flying V.
Arguably the greatest maneuver of all time.
Yes, the Flying V is the greatest sports maneuver of all time.
That really is a great moment in the
Oh
movie.
my goodness. When that happens, I was just like, you just lose it. It's the Flying V.
Anytime some sort of dramatic crescendo of an event happens, whether it be a children's hockey match or the end of Avengers, I wait for the V. Like how great would it have been if instead of on your left,
they all just converged into a V and went straight at.
Cap just heard flying V.
V. Everybody just gets in line.
Gordon Bombay comes through the little portal.
That would be fantastic.
They screwed it up.
Oh my gosh.
Petition. Let's do a petition.
That's how we do everything now.
I think so, yeah.
Just start a petition.
I don't like something. I will do a petition so that we can get okay, you got 500,000 people. We're talking about Game of Thrones here for a second. Tangent. Wonderful tangents. So juicy. You just get 500,000 people to redo the season because that's what HBO would obviously do. They would take the opinions of 500,000 nerds and they would just wipe that whatever. I mean, I'm guessing conservatively $2 trillion to make season 8.
I think it was actually closer to 4.
$4 trillion, yeah.
From all the financial publications and periodicals that I read.
You would know.
I would know.
You would know. Bank man.
Savvy business acumen.
Money man.
Savvy business acumen.
Wait. Savvy business acumen!
It's just one of my things.
Yeah. No, but what? Okay, so you get those 500,000 people. Are they going to have a meeting or something and try to come together? This is what I want.
I would like to see that. I would not like to be at that meeting.
I would love to poke holes in
unless it's
every single suggestion.
Unless it's in a very well ventilated venue, because I feel like a lot of these people are internet troll kind of people. And
oh yeah, Reddit people, people of Reddit,
the Redditors,
the Reddit army of just nerds in mothers' basements here coming at you.
Yep.
But no, back to Mighty Ducks. You were very kind, and you just let me talk ET. I've cut you off 13 times.
No, this is the magic of what we do here. Because
I'm almost out of podcast juice.
You'll have to get another one.
No, but what did your kids like most about Mighty Ducks?
I think they enjoyed the general disregard for rules and regulations that the kids had.
Kids enjoy that.
We have a very strong attachment to the Sandlot, so this was
God,
the
I can't wait to show
Sandlot
my kid the Sandlot.
We're big on the Sandlot in my house, and so this is baseball was a passion of mine. Was when I was a kid, still is. Yep. Hockey. I don't watch anywhere near as much hockey or participate in hockey activities as much as I used to when I was a youth growing up in the state of Minnesota.
Oh, that's right. Did everyone have a pond in their backyard?
It's the land of 10,000 lakes.
Oh yes, one lake for every family.
Yep.
2 lakes for every family.
Yeah, because and you can go fishing whenever, summer, winter.
Just cast your line.
Because really, I mean, the seasons in Minnesota are early winter, winter, late winter, and that day that was warm,
followed by winter.
Back to early winter.
I can understand that. Yes.
So it's fine, but I'm anticipating. I'm excited to show them the second one. We probably won't get to the third one because there's no use for it.
No Bombay, right?
No, I mean he's in it briefly at the beginning.
Oh.
But he turns the reins over to the the coach of the team there. It's like it's a real brief thing. I was like, nah, if Bombay's not here, these aren't the Ducks.
I would watch it if Rodney Dangerfield were the person that you like were to hand the whistle.
Like in Ladybugs.
I love Ladybugs.
Jonathan
And soccer
Brandis.
is just really hockey on land.
It is.
Well, I mean, ice is land too, I guess, kind of.
They're both solids.
It's dirt hockey.
dirt hockey.
I'm going to coin
That's
that phrase.
Dirt hockey.
Who wants to play some dirt hockey? I mean soccer.
Soccer.
I mean football.
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 You know that Jonathan Brandis was in Ladybugs.
He's dead too.
He committed suicide.
Oh, God.
I
need to get a Debbie Downer sound effect
himself.
Immediately with all these deaths. How many people died that you didn't know? How many beloved, fondly remembered childhood heroes of yours?
He was in that movie Sidekicks as well.
With Chuck
Norris.
With Chuck Norris. I liked the kid. You know? And he was in Sequest. Sequest.
Emphasis on the quest.
For
Just
sure.
happened to be in the sea.
Got to do that emphasis on the quest.
Sequest. Did that have Roy Scheider in it as well?
It did. It absolutely did. And I'm sure
he
was
can't stay away from the water.
I know. They just
He's
kept casting him
addicted to the
stuff.
ocean.
Get away from the ocean. No, but it was Star Trek underwater. That's all it was.
I didn't much watch it.
And from all accounts, it was a good show, but I didn't watch it either.
Until
Probably why it got canceled. After
Probably once he murdered himself.
Oh yeah. I'm familiar with that show. I never watched it.
That kid
Canceled.
Once the kid killed himself, it's kind of like it's kind of a
Oh
downer.
yeah, I didn't want to go back and watch that. You know what? Will Wheaton. He never killed himself.
No,
so
he didn't.
Those
still around.
Next Generation is eminently rewatchable because of that. Thanks,
Still
Will
there.
Wheaton.
Thank you for not killing yourself, Will Wheaton.
We definitely appreciate it.
We're very anti-killing yourself on this show.
We really are. We really are. If sometimes we don't act it, we are.
We're just
kids. Don't kill yourself.
Don't kill yourself. Don't. That's the message here.
Do not.
Not to the negative.
Not. Emphasis on the do not.
Do not.
Wait, I should have not. Anyway.
Not.
Knotted pretzels.
Mm.
Okay, so that was our Rad Dads.
That was Rad Dads.
There's really no need to
We were
belabor
both
the
Rad
point
Dads.
that Mighty Ducks was one of the greatest movies
Of all time.
Not just sports movies, movies.
Just movies in general.
Step aside, Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
So what do we do now, Coach?
What did your old coach have you do?
He just yelled a lot. Yeah, that's how he hurt his arm.
His arm?
Yeah, one minute he's yelling at us. Little bastards, run on the play. Oh, you suck, you skate, you little bastard.
Heart attack.
All right, so that means it's time for the main event. Who is that man?
That's Michael Buffer.
Oh, Michael Buffer.
Let's get ready to
Oh, people, we have the main event for you this time around. It is the top 5 animated movies of all time, according to Adam and Ron,
Yes.
Cinemasters.
And we're the Cinemasters, so that's all that matters.
TM that, everybody. I gotta fade it out so we don't get a copyright strike. It's like my whole life is avoiding copyright strikes.
I'll take all the
Gotta
copyright
rash
strikes
it out.
you got.
14 seconds, not 15 seconds.
Give me all the copyright strikes you got.
But no, now I can actually start referencing my notes.
Get to notes.
No, diddly diddly dee. Notes.
Notes. Show notes.
Show notes is a good one. You gotta have a couple syllables in there. You can't just say
Show
one. You
notes.
can't bring it with one syllable. What's
Show
the
notes would be
matter
great
with
on a
you?
T-shirt too.
Shout out.
Show notes.
Show notes.
And then you have like a piece of paper with different things written on it, like strike throughs.
Mm-hmm. See, we don't actually memorize everything. Now you
No.
did it. You've done that in the last couple shows.
I've done.
I can't believe it.
I could shoot from the hip sometimes too. That's a cowboy thing, I think. I don't know a lot about cowboys.
I thought it was a pirate thing.
It could be a pirate thing.
Arr.
If you are of a profession where you are carrying a pistol on your hip, I think that you can shoot
Anything
from,
that you can shoot,
it's just out of the holster and shoot from the hip.
and you have it on your hip.
Because like if you
These
were
are the 2 requirements.
if you were Bullet and you had like the here holster, I don't know what this
the 70s cop show
yeah,
holster.
yeah.
The breast. I'm gonna call it the breast.
That's fine.
Holster. I'm gonna say that that's what it's called.
And as per the movie Zodiac, Bullitt got that from Detective David Toschi from the San Francisco PD.
So that is actually art imitating life?
Exactly.
Fantastic. See, that's why you tune in. Anytime, like Zodiac trivia.
Nuggets of wisdom.
Ooh.
That'd be another good t-shirt.
Diddly diddly dee.
Nuggets of wisdom. Show notes, Nuggets of wisdom. I'm going to make note of some of these things. These are great t-shirt ideas.
We're going to be so rich.
Yes.
We can stop doing the podcast after 10 shows. Get rich off of our t-shirts, bumper stickers, coffee mugs, you name it.
Paraphernalia.
Ooh, paraphernalia. I like that. That's like trepidatious. So here's how we'll do it. We'll go backwards 5-1. And I'm already going to feel a bit guilty. These lists are tricky because how do you put your list together? Do you do the objective top 5 or the subjective top 5?
I wrote down, these are all the movies from like the 4 different major studios that I would say.
Oh, you have it parsed out by studio?
I went by, because Disney they owned the game for the long time. For the
many
times.
years, yes.
And then Sony came into the mix, Illumination, DreamWorks.
Illumination!
So
DreamWorks, yeah.
There's other, I know.
And then you got your, Don Bluths.
I was Don Bluth.
Who challenged Disney hard up, just straight up.
Rockadoodle.
No, I was thinking Secret of NIMH.
I was thinking Rockadoodle.
Isn't that one of the movies that bankrupted them? Or was that Anastasia? Actually, that was probably a pretty good hit for them. I saw Anastasia
Rockadoodle was great.
Do you stop it with Rockadoodle?
Chanticleer, the rooster.
What was the speaking of Rodney Dangerfield, the
Rover Dangerfield?
Yes. Oh, that was a Don Bluth joint. No, but most of my movies are probably going to be in the Disney realm. If you are the type of person that really enjoys anime or
Studio was Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli.
I don't know what it is. I don't watch those.
Yeah, what? So I was listening to a podcast. Well, I haven't actually listened to it yet, but it's a podcast that I listen to quite frequently. One of their topics coming up is what is it? Totoro.
My Neighbor Totoro.
My Neighbor Totoro, and that's a movie that I hear is great all the time. But I just don't have a palate for.
I don't care.
The Ghibli movies.
No.
Ghibli or Ghibli?
Either one.
Gibbles and bits.
Gibbles and bits. That's another great.
I've offended so many fans.
It's fine.
Just now, so I'm going to say up front that I don't have any of those movies.
No.
This is pretty much all U.S. movies. And
Go America!
Oh, Team America!
America!
Fuck yeah! Coming
is.
Again to save the. Yeah.
Sorry.
Why did I censor myself at that point?
I don't know. You went hard on the first one and then just it's like you kind of backtracked a little bit.
I was like, oh, my mom might be listening. It's terrible. So yeah, my movie's pretty. I didn't write dates down. Did you write dates down?
I didn't write dates down.
Okay,
I have kind of approximate when some of the stuff came out. Some of them are fairly recent.
We have not shared each other's picks, but you did say that you only had a couple pre-2000 movies.
Yeah, I have 2 movies prior to 2000.
I only had 1, and I feel really bad about it. But without further ado, you start out with number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah.
This is one I picked. This was a hard one for me to pick because I have several honorable mentions. I even have little things next to them that say HM for honorable mention.
We'll knock out a few honorable mentions, I think.
But I had several honorable mentions that this one beat out.
5's not that many.
No, it's not. When you're considering all of the animated movies that have ever been made
in the history,
and there's a lot of them
for sure.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
But my number 5, I went with not because it's a personal favorite of mine. But I feel like. It was I don't know if it was the first, I don't know, but I would definitely classify it as kind of a pioneer in the animated movie that is appealing to kids and is simultaneously entertaining to adults. Okay. And so I went with Shrek.
That's a good choice. I thought really long and hard about putting Shrek up there because it was one of those movies that appealed to both older fans and younger fans. They could appreciate the jokes about barf and puke.
Yes.
The older fans could appreciate jokes about, boners. Probably. There were probably a boner.
There's a lot of those in Shrek. A lot of I mean, the whole third act I think is really just nothing but boner jokes.
It's a big Viagra joke, you know.
But I liked kind of the little when they show up at what was the place that Farquaad ran, his little city, whatever it was, and they.
Oh yeah, I remember the little Disneyland attraction thing.
Yeah, they have that thing that plays, and they're like, and they had a little tongue-in-cheek joke in there that as an adult watching is like, that's like. It felt like one of the first movies that really catered in that way because I think, and it was one of the early ones for DreamWorks.
Yep.
Definitely a flagship entity for them.
Shrek movies.
Yeah. So it's been, and the sequels were all pretty solid.
I liked them all.
They were all pretty good movies.
I thought the fourth one in particular was strong. I didn't love the third one. The first one is the best.
Yes.
Second one is good. It's definitely fun. Third one, I felt like, oh, they should end it here.
Yeah.
And then they did the fourth one, and it's like, okay, they did a good job.
Yeah.
This is good. This is.
It
fun.
Was, and that was why.
Because that was the one with
Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I read your mind there. I know exactly what you were. Cinemaster.
But that's a fun series because they take all of those fairy tale characters.
Fairy tales.
But they don't just go with the fairy tale. Well, a lot of old Disney movies are just old fairy tale movies, old grim tales.
Yep.
You know, just sanitized for children. But they kind of have fun with the Disney movies as well as the Hansel and Gretel type stuff.
Plus, one of the added bonuses is you get Smash Mouth with Shrek.
Hey now, I'm an all-star.
So you get some Smash Mouth in there while you're watching Shrek. I think they did that.
Elevates every movie.
What was the monkey song that they did?
I'm a believer.
I'm a believer.
Yeah. I believe.
Yes.
With Donkey. I love Eddie Murphy doing that. I mean, there's no difference whatsoever between Donkey and the dragon from Mulan. They're the same exact character. Mushu, yeah. But I love him. I think he's just the best. That is if Eddie Murphy wants to do movies that are like cool for his kids, he should just do voice work.
Animated stuff would be good for him.
He's awesome at
his live action. I mean, Daddy Daycare was kind of okay, but
take your word.
The rest, I mean, Haunted Mansion. I was so disappointed in Haunted Mansion, especially after Pirates of the Caribbean came out, and then Haunted Mansion came out, which I was like, oh, this will be cool.
We should all be worried about the Jungle Cruise movie. A lot. It's The Rock, so you got that going for you.
It does have that going for it.
But movies based on like theme park attraction rides.
On rides.
A dark ride. At least the Jungle Boat. What's it called?
I think Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise. It's known for the humor of the tugboat captain.
It'll be totally different than Jumanji, where The Rock is in the jungle.
Ew.
It's a totally different concept.
Well, that movie worked out, so why not put The Rock on a boat?
Just keep putting The Rock in the jungle and see what happens.
Just keep dropping him in the jungle and print the money.
I love that we're back to calling it the jungle because for the longest time we didn't like. When I was a kid, I had to color in the crayon box jungle green. That one's not there anymore. No one calls it the jungle. It was the rainforest.
Oh, I was going to say, what are they calling it now? The rainforest green?
Everything was the rainforest.
That's pussy right there.
And I was like, I like the jungle. I'm all about.
I want to run through the jungle.
Yeah,
that's how you do it, man.
Yeah,
it's. I don't know. I blame the millennials.
I do too. Damn kids.
Damn millennials.
Get off my lawn.
They brought vinyl back though, so good for you, millennials. You can buy a record again.
You can.
You never really could. I
don't have a record player.
I don't either, but I just want to buy a few.
I want tapes to come back.
No.
I want cassette tapes.
I love the mile-long fold-outs you could get that had all the lyrics. I miss the lyrics. But you have the internet now. Yeah, you're right. It's way more convenient now. The internet's just made everything so convenient. But I like doing things in an antiquated way.
I do too.
I want to bring rotary phones back now.
I write the airline for tickets. If I'm going to fly somewhere, I write them a letter.
I'm going to right now after the show see if I could find an app on your phone that like lets you dial with a rotary. That's got to be a thing, right?
That's got to be a thing.
It's got to be a thing. I'm writing it. But no, Shrek.
Shrek.
DreamWorks' flagship movie.
Yep. It wasn't their first, but it was one of the first. But it was really like what
was DreamWorks' first animated movie?
I should have made note when I was looking at it.
Because DreamWorks is a studio that didn't just make animated movies.
They only had like 2 or 3 before Shrek. Yeah. Shrek was like their first big one, I think, that they did.
Did Monster House come through Dream? Well, that would have been after Shrek anyway.
I don't remember who did Monster House.
Challenge us. Let us know what DreamWorks movies came out first. I can't remember. I feel like Shrek was like
I could look it up.
No, I don't do that. Screw that.
I have the internet here.
I don't think that's necessary. I think we should just commit to it and make it sound like we know what we're talking about.
That's fine.
And the people won't question
it. I do know what I'm talking about. If you want to question it, I'll hit
It
you
was
in the
the
face
third
with a bat.
DreamWorks film. Don't look us up.
It's the first one.
We are correct.
Who'd want to live in a place like that?
That would be my home.
Oh, and it is lovely, just beautiful. You know, you are quite a decorator. It's amazing what you've done with such a modest budget. I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
Okay, so I'll just move over to my number 5.
Yes, number 5.
Man, kind of like how the Shrek movies get a bad rep, even though they made 3 sequels. So obviously people liked the movies.
They did.
This is another series that I think has probably gotten worse with each sequel, but the original movie I just love so much. And I have several Pixar movies on my list. This is the first Pixar movie, and that's Cars.
I was thinking, until you said Pixar, I was thinking you were going with the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That's not
Yeah, that's when you said Pixar, I was like, oh, it's not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because of that all of the sequels that the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
They're just not as good as the first.
The first Hunchback was good, but like Hunchback 7 was a bit much.
It was over the top.
It was a bit much.
And then
you're just squeezing it.
Hunchback 8, Notre Dame is on fire. Ooh, topical.
Ooh.
That just happened. That just happened.
It did catch on
fire. Fresh. Keeping it fresh. That's another good t-shirt idea.
Keeping it fresh. Wait, that's probably a thing already.
Probably
is.
But
It's like a cereal slogan, I guess.
I'm gonna find a way that
it's a vagina slogan.
Never mind. That's not ours now. We're not using that. I was gonna put keeping it fresh on the list.
Nation.
Douche Nation. Crazy hour in the douche.
How many times can I offend our audience? Anyway.
You and I are our audience. And Joel.
And Joel, is Joel actually listening?
Joel listens.
Thanks for listening, Joel.
And Matt.
Thanks for watching.
Calling out some of our listeners. And
Mitch, Joel, Matt. And the girls.
And the girls.
And the girls. We'll
just like Dr. T and the women.
We have 10 listeners. We have a good time.
Yes.
We do. Cars, I really, really, really enjoy a fish out of water story, which is all Cars is, really.
Yes. Lightning
McQueen, big city slicker, gets into a bit of hot water in a country town. It's I remember thinking, I'm not a Larry the Cable Guy fan. I found him really obnoxious and not funny.
He's an acquired taste.
He is an acquired taste. Like white dog turds.
Yes.
Like Henry Thomas.
Very much an acquired taste.
Why did I just group all 3 of those guys?
Because you're right. Larry the Cable Guy, White Dog Turds, and Henry Thomas.
But yeah, no, he's the get her done guy, and I think he may say get her done at the very end of the movie, which is probably why I liked that. But Mater is a really endearing, likable, dare I say, lovable character. And the relationship, like, I love Owen Wilson. Wow.
Yeah,
I love Owen Wilson.
Like, wow. I wish I could do an Owen Wilson.
He's the best, and he's kind of become my quintessential Owen Wilson performance is Lightning McQueen. And a part of it too could be because like Logan's favorite thing for a long time was Lightning McQueen. Like he had all the toys, he slept in a Lightning McQueen bed. And when I first saw that movie, I think it came out in like 2007, was kind of a real rough patch in my life. So I remember like having a difficult day at work, checking out, driving to the movie theater, and like, what's playing? I saw Over the Hedge, which is fun, and then I saw Cars. And it's a John Lasseter movie, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's one of the original John Lasseter flicks from Pixar. I'm trying to think, what came just before that? Was it Bugs?
A Bug's Life.
Was it A Bug's Life, or was there some stuff? Well, maybe Monsters Inc. came.
Yeah.
But it's weird because there's 3 of them now.
Yeah.
And I hate the second Cars movie. Like, it's enjoyable for kids. So, like, I appreciate it for that reason.
It was a very odd direction to take it. It was like all of a sudden you're going to interject James Bond into the Cars franchise, and it was a weird direction. Like, because the first one was like kind of overcoming adversity, learning things, becoming a better person, and the third one is kind of in a similar vein as that. I mean, like
there's a lot of heart in the first one.
There's
the small town who gets overlooked because of the super highway or whatever.
And Cheech Marin is in it.
Yeah, he's in Slow and Low. Wanda Sykes, I think, is maybe no. Wanda Sykes.
Bonnie Hunt is.
Bonnie Hunt was great. I really appreciated the tramp stamp bit from. Like, wow, they actually had a tramp stamp reference in a kids movie. Fantastic. It's a bit of a DreamWorks move, but hey, you wouldn't expect that from Disney-esque movie. But yeah, in the second one, they took it was all about Mater.
Yeah,
it was just the Mater movie. They should have just called it Cars: the Mater movie, and
with Michael Caine.
And I love Michael Caine. He's the best.
But it was just weird. It was like he's a spy car that shoots guns.
Yeah. It felt like an episode of something you'd see in the afternoon. Like that could have been like a 5-part miniseries that you would see on the Disney Channel. It was high quality, but it was just the first one was like, you got oh gosh, I'm trying to think of his name. Salad dressing guy.
Oh, Paul
Newman. Paul Newman is just he's so friggin' like he just oozes charm, and I love that. It's like everything about the small town. Big city kid goes to the small town. You've seen it in millions and millions of stories. It's nothing original, but I'm a sucker for it every single time. I even enjoyed Sweet Home Alabama, and I should hate Sweet Home Alabama.
Joshua Lucas.
He was in that.
Yeah, he was the hometown guy.
So
Patrick Dempsey was the
the big city slicker, and Ethan Embry.
Yes, was in that as well.
But I like that movie. I thought that was a cute movie. It's everything that I would rally against. Like, ugh, I don't want to see that crap. But it was that familiar, like big city, like she was the big city slicker who was from the small town. Anyway, I'm going off on
City Slickers too.
Yeah,
not City Slickers 2, not City Slickers also. I was talking about the Legend of Curly's Gold.
The Legend of Curly's Gold.
I want to go directly to that.
I can't believe they made a second City Slickers.
It was great.
Movie. I enjoyed it. And
they found a way to bring.
I like that Norman made a return. The calf was now a cow.
Yeah. And
Hello. Cars. It's hard to defend now. I thought the third one was actually decent.
The third one was good.
I liked it. It has a little bit of a heart too. Like, I like my Pixar movies with heart. That's why I like Pixar movies. The second one was just like big fat cash grab. It was like an outlier of a Pixar movie. It's like, I can't believe they made this movie. This does not seem like this is like they outsourced it. Like, not made by Pixar.
Because there were bad guys. There's not usually bad guys. I mean, sometimes there's bad guys, but if you really think about it, the cars were blowing up. Like, cars were dying.
Yeah. Yeah, just not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. But anyways, Cars was my number 5 pick. Come at me if your favorite movie didn't get selected because I put Cars. I'm the guy who put Aquaman at number 10. Fishman.
Fish boy.
Fish boy. Can't even get a man. No.
I swear, tractors is so dumb. I'll tell you what, buddy, it don't get much better than this.
Yep, you're living the dream, Mater boy.
Adam, what's your number 4?
Number 4. All right, this is one of my
best animated movie of all time.
This one. This one is it's kind of I go back. This one did come out in 1981. And I came out in 1983.
You came out in 1983.
So this was 2 years before.
I love that that's your theatrical release date.
I was theatrically released in February of 1983. But
Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Did you come before or after Jedi?
I came before.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay.
I was in time.
Diddly before Jedi.
I was there for the Ewoks.
Perfect. Just
I
perfect
could have been one of the baby Ewoks. glue some hair to me as a baby.
Yep.
But my number 4 is The Fox and the Hound.
Oh.
It's one of those. It's very sentimental. It's one when I was a kid, watched it a lot.
So yeah, you got Kurt Russell, you got your Corey Feldman. And who played the other kid? I don't know if that kid turned out to be anybody famous.
Probably not.
I love that movie. That is a really cute movie.
It's a fun. It's that was back when Disney was making really sad stories.
That might have been one of the last old men films.
Yeah.
The famous old men who were like the Disney disciple, Disney's guys.
Yep.
And that was probably this is around the time that Disney was. This was just as because Don Bluth worked on Fox and the Hound. I think he made most of it, and then he left before it even released.
Yep.
So this is probably the last big Disney animated hit. Like they came back obviously with a vengeance. But they really kind of struggled after Fox and the Hound. So yeah, so why was Fox and the Hound, other than it being like a movie that was probably out when you were little?
It was it was one I have a lot of memories watching it over and over and over. It was one of those and one of those movies I think that got associated with me, like just within the family. Like I remember one year, I think it was for my birthday. My mom, when it was re-released on DVD, my mom got me a copy of it. So it was one of those. It had very.
So you probably saw that when you were little. Like, okay, so they every 7 years is kind of how Disney would do.
Yeah.
So if it came out in 81, you would have seen it in 88, perhaps.
Probably
as a 5-year-old.
And my mom's side of the family, like we're big Disney fans.
Oh yeah.
Very very strong Disney blood running through the veins.
If you're opposed to Disney, fuck you.
Exactly. That is. We have released that statement publicly.
It's a bumper sticker on my car.
That's a T-shirt right there. Yeah, if you don't like Disney, then fuck you.
Isn't that also like a Ricky Bobby quote? But it's like instead of Disney, it's Big Red chewing gum.
It was yes, I believe it was. I believe that's true.
I don't know if I'm gonna have to like bleep myself out, or should I just go full on like Eddie Murphy raw?
Only if you're gonna wear that outfit. If you wear the Eddie Murphy raw outfit,
the purple leather outfit. Oh my god, so good. I've got that hanging. It's in the dry cleaning right now.
Yeah.
Do you dry clean a leather outfit? What do you do with a leather outfit?
You smack it. You
hang
just it up on
beat
something.
It up against.
Yeah.
You just beat it with a stick.
Yep.
With a racket.
Yep.
Anyway, Fox and the Hound.
Fox
1981.
It's overcoming adversity. There's a hound and a fox, aptly applied in the movie.
It's kind of a racism allegory.
It is,
if you think about it.
It's like, as youngsters, they're free to intermingle.
Yeah.
And once they get older, and that supposedly become more enlightened, more educated, to the ways of the world.
Yeah.
Then they find out, wait a minute, we're on opposite sides.
Yeah, you start bending to peer pressure. Like I'm a hound. I have to hunt the fox.
Hunt foxes.
We can no longer be friends. That's the heartbreaking moment.
It is.
Because the fox, what was the fox's name?
He was Todd.
Todd.
Because Copper was the hound dog.
I feel like it was Copper that cut off the friendship first. And was it the little old lady who was Todd's mother? I guess
she had raised him.
I loved her in that movie. So cute.
And there was the old owl. They had a lot of old owls.
Was that the Archimedes archetype owl? Was it kind of like that?
No, she was like a big mama kind of owl. Because there was Archimedes in Sword and Stone, and then there was the owl in Bambi.
I have a feeling Archimedes
could
make a return appearance.
The Sword and the Stone was a great movie. It was a great Disney movie.
Let's not talk about it too much right now. Will that
Wink.
be? Oh, tease. Anyway.
So back to the Fox and the Hound, because that's what we're talking about right now.
So do you own the Fox and the Hound? Have the kids seen Fox and the Hound?
I don't know if the kids have seen it or not. I still have it on DVD. I don't know.
I hate those sad Disney movies.
It is a sad. It's one of those. It's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
It'll tug at those heartstrings.
It will
make you feel bad about every choice you've ever made.
Why can't we all just get along?
You should eat a whole pie when you watch that movie. It's the kind of thing.
I'll eat a whole pie. I don't even need to be sad.
Eat a sad pie.
From the looks of me, yeah.
This
a pizza pie.
You need a sad pie for this one. Just a whole sad pie.
Wah, wah.
Yep, sad pie.
I will say over the weekend I've had a whole medium pizza to myself.
That's fantastic.
But that's down from a large.
I had a whole large. Between last night and breakfast this morning.
Wait a second. Did I just fat shame you?
No.
Okay,
that's
good.
impossible.
Yeah, I can't. A fat person can't fat shame.
And I have no shame.
You can't shame someone without any.
Because I just don't care.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Anything else you want to say about the Fox and the Hound?
No.
It's like a favorite. There are no like big like stories of the Fox and the Hound where your mom took you.
No. There's just it was one resonated when I was a child. Is
that a because you have older siblings, right?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest sibling. Okay.
So
I got you. Oh, I was thinking you were the oldest sibling. You have two younger siblings.
I have youngers, yes, two.
Good deal. Did they listen to the show?
I don't know.
Good on them. Good.
Probably not.
I'm just say no.
It's probably not.
Stay away.
I'll find out because if they're watching or listening.
Yeah.
They'll come at me and be like, "No, we totally listen."
Oh, okay.
But if I don't get that, then we're like,
"Why wouldn't you think we'd listen? Do you think we're not supportive siblings?"
Confirmation.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd. What's your name, kid? Mine's Copper. I'm a hound dog. Gee, I bet you'd be good playing hide and seek. You want to try it, Copper? Can I use my nose? Sure.
All right, so we'll move on to my number 4.
Yes.
It's The Sword in the Stone.
Oh my goodness. I totally thought you were going to say Doug's first movie. But went a different direction. Hopefully I didn't spoil one of your other picks. Doug's first movie.
Oh no, it's from what I understand, the Doug movie is actually crap because that's when Disney took over the Doug license. It was a Nickelodeon property for a long time. I was younger.
The entire series.
Do you know?
Yes.
So you have the 2 iterations of Doug.
I've got some Doug.
So which do you prefer? Do you prefer
the Nickelodeon?
Okay, good for you. That is correct, actually. But no, the Sword in the Stone is my favorite.
Old,
like first generation Disney. Like
that's a good one.
I love it. It's gorgeous. It's the story of young King Arthur, and Merlin is because of this movie. Merlin has just always been one of my favorite characters from that lore. I guess I don't know what you'd call it. It's fictional, obviously, but
I think lore is appropriate.
Yeah. So like if you're a fan of say Game of Thrones, Merlin would be like at home in that universe.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Sure. But Archimedes is a great character. Like, there was a poll on Facebook or Twitter. I don't remember exactly, but it was like, name your favorite side character, not side character, but sidekick.
Sidekick.
Yeah, who's your favorite sidekick in a Disney movie? And Archimedes was my favorite. I just love the relationship between Merlin and Archimedes. And Arthur's just okay in the movie, he's fine. But the 3 of them together, I love it when they're the squirrel,
yes,
and the girl squirrel gets a crush on Merlin,
yes,
and they both have crushes on they both have their little squirrel 99.
She's so sad when he turns back into the boy, and just she doesn't understand.
Yeah, but no, that's the saddest part of that movie. It's an old style Disney movie. I think it came out in the 60s.
That sounds right.
I think the 60s, but it's kind of without all the sadness. Really, it's actually a very uplifting story.
What did they call him?
Wart.
Wart.
Yeah, they call him Wart, and because he's got the brothers.
Yeah, he was
He was supposed to be the squire. Yeah. So I just love that movie. I recently purchased that. There was a 40th anniversary Disney Blu-ray, and I was like, I gotta pick this up. And rewatched it. It's a movie that I remember watching on reels in elementary school. That was kind of like a little treat if you could get a movie on reels and you're actually kind of watching it.
Yes.
And actually hear the whir of the projector and everything, just like at the beginning of our podcast.
It's a magical sound.
It is a beautiful sound. I love it. So I saw that not in theaters. Obviously, I was not born yet, but on reels in class. I think it was 1st or 2nd grade, and I fell in love with it then. Subsequently seen it on VHS and DVD years later, and then just mentioning it on Blu-ray. So it's just a movie that holds up insanely well.
Mad Madam Mim.
I love
that
the
whole battle back and forth.
Yeah, the battle between Merlin and Mad Madam Mim is so good. That's great. And then at the end, he pulls the sword out, and there's that kind of moment afterwards. Like, it doesn't just end on him pulling the sword out. Like, he's all alone, and Merlin like pops in like with the goofy shirt on, like Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, because he left. He
left.
Got so frustrated.
He was frustrated with because Archimedes kind of like took over the grooming of him. I forget exactly why he was frustrated, but he did. He like got mad and like rocketed off. Like, he became an actual literal rocket and blew off. He blew his top. You don't know where he went, but yeah, he comes back, and Merlin's like, you're the king now, kid. Heavy is the crown. So, and
he was just a wee lad.
He was just a wee wart. But I love that movie. It's a great movie. It's so magical. It's like the animated version of Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Like, I get that same exact feel. Like, if you're a fan of Bedknobs and Broomsticks, it's just magic.
If you even know what Bedknobs and Broomsticks is, because
Angela Lansbury and the dad from Mary Poppins.
Yes, that's his legal name.
If you IMDb it, don't look it up. Just trust us. We know what we're talking about. We're licensed Cinemasters.
What is? Now I'm trying to think of the song that he sings in that movie.
Oh, I don't remember.
Bedknobs and Broomsticks. He's talking the little where the market is, something road.
Oh yeah. You know what the thing that the prevailing memory I have of that movie is the end when the knights become alive.
Yes,
they're marching. I love that. That's a movie I think I might have to do a future Rad Dads on and watch with the kids.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So anyways, Sword in the Stone is, I'll just go ahead and say it, my lone, hand-drawn. I love hand-drawn animation. It's awesome. But as much as I yearn to have hand-drawn animation, and it was very, nice to see it return in the Mary Poppins sequel, I did not know that until you had confirmed that to me, that it was actually old school hand-drawn.
Yes.
You could definitely tell.
Yep.
But
and it was cool.
It was very neat.
It made it very cool.
So yeah, The Sword in the Stone. That's my number 4.
Portobello Road. That was the name of the song.
Yes. I love that actor.
The dad from...
I like the soccer. He's everybody's dad.
Yes, with the animated characters.
Awesome. Yeah.
Little bowler hat and mustache. He could have made it. Could have made it. It was an animated.
They were like the animated creatures. They were like the animals from the Robin Hood.
Yes, very similar.
Probably in the 70s.
I am about to prove otherwise.
It could have been late 60s.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, somewhere in that.
Number 3.
Number 3. All right, this one I'm going more recent.
Okay.
And I think this is one of the movies that Disney has done in the last few years that I really appreciated because I think it's an original story, but it was so refreshing because it was just something new and different than what they had been doing.
Which is not really what Disney's known for.
No, Zootopia.
Oh, cool! Yeah, I'm glad you put that on your list.
I think Tucker.
I watched it today.
Yeah, it's a great. You can watch it. The voice acting is great. The story is solid.
So it's Jennifer Goodwin is Judy Hopps.
Yep.
And Jason Bateman is the fox.
The fox, whose name I can't also remember right now.
Nick, I think.
Nick, yes.
And then of course the sloth.
Yes.
I love that scene at the end of the movie where he pulls him over.
Yep.
Nick.
That was great.
It upsets me that is the last animated feature, I think. Well, Wreck-It Ralph, I guess, technically was the last, but it's like an original movie.
Yeah.
And, Disney, I feel like, is just sort of relying on their acquisitions. Yeah. Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar. I mean, Pixar was always like a Disney thing anyway, but now it's like officially owned by Disney. And you can count on a Pixar movie coming out pretty much every year.
Yep.
But I want Disney to continue because, you had your Tangled, which I think was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Highly underrated movie. And then you had like your Wreck-It Ralph, also very good. Frozen, way overrated. Like people love Frozen, and it's got a sequel coming out. But Zootopia is just the best.
The colors and just everything. I mean, everything about it really just hit well. The characters were were interesting and compelling. The story was well written, and it came together really nicely. Music. The music. I mean, all of the elements. All of the elements that were present in it really married together nicely, and it made for a really fun movie. That's one of those. I'm like, there are movies that my kids like to watch. I'm like, I can't watch that again. But Zootopia is one. Like when the request for Zootopia comes on, I'm always all right. Sure.
Oh, I could watch Zootopia over and over and over again. The thing I like about Zootopia too is how thoughtful they were with combining all of the worlds.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't unusual to see like the mice interact like in the same universe as like giraffes and hippos. You know, like they all kind of had their own little ecosystem and their own like infrastructure. It was so thoughtful, such a thoughtful movie, and I think once I was reading something, it's the highest grossing animated movie to not actually feature a human character. Like it made over $1 billion, but it's just exclusively animal characters, anthropomorphic animal characters, human-like, but no human characters in it whatsoever. Not a princess movie.
Nope.
Judy Hopps is a wonderful character, like, you know, for any young person to, you know, to look up to, especially young girls. She doesn't, you know, she's going to be a cop. And, you know, it doesn't matter how small she is. She's determined and an overachiever, but in not in an annoying way.
Yeah.
Very likable. Like a lot of times, those archetype characters are kind of designed to be very annoying.
Oh my gosh!
We get it. You want to be the best.
And I like there's a lot of fun little things. I like one of the things, and I don't know if Frozen was the first one that did it, but they've had this iteration of this joke, because in Frozen it was the guy who was the Duke of, everyone kept calling it Weaseltown. It's like
Weaselton.
It's Weaselton.
I say Frozen's overrated, but I do think it's good.
It's good, but it got way too much play for what it was like. It's a good movie, but it's like not that good.
Yeah.
But they've had that iteration, because I think the weasel's name was Duke, or there's some.
Oh, they carry along that little inside joke.
That joke. Gotcha. So it was featured there, and then it was fun because he was selling bootleg DVDs, and it was of other like Disney properties, things that were some of the stuff like that. I really enjoyed just some of these, and then I think
Alan Tudyk played the little weasel guy.
He's kind of like the new John Ratzenberger. His voice keeps showing up in all these Disney movies.
Good point.
He's
the non-Pixar John Ratzenberger.
Yes. And then at the end, when they're on the train and they've kind of solved the crime that the sheep are, there was a Breaking Bad reference in the midst
Oh,
of
you're
all that.
right. Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
you're absolutely right.
I enjoy some of the fun little placement of some of that kind of stuff. I mean, even the little mole that was like the Godfather. It was like there was just
Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
She's like the daughter. Yeah, there's the whole Godfather thing, which is cute. That could be something that kids are never gonna get, but parents can enjoy it, and it's been parodied many times, but it's just really handled well.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman, I guess, is the MVP of that movie.
Yeah.
He's so damn charming in the thing.
He was perfectly cast, and and really he owns the role, and it's nice to see kind of the
Idris Elba as the was he an ox?
Yep.
Chief.
And then J.K. Simmons is the mayor.
He's the lion. Yep.
Jenny
Clawhauser is a really adorable character. Yes. I liked him. I don't know the actor's name, but
I don't think he's got much to his.
He was in the Get Smart movie, I think. He was one of the agents.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? The blonde guy?
Yeah.
I think that's Clawhauser.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy, I love the Judy Hopps' parents.
Yep.
It's like the movie's paced so well. Like, you get all the exposition you need in that beginning part where they talk about how like Zootopia is Zootopia because the predators have evolved, and then they call back to that whole predator devolving, or at least that's what they want you to think. And I really enjoyed that, like, swerve at the end when you think Jason Bateman's Fox character might eat Judy Hopps, and she's like, blood. She's such a cute character in that. I love the Judy Hopps character. That was a great callback. And I don't know a lot about Jennifer Goodwin. Like, she was in some romantic comedies in the early 2000s, I want to say.
He's Just Not That Into You. She was.
You're right. She was in that. That's probably what I'm mostly familiar with her with. And I would love to see her have a nice long career voicing characters for Disney. because she has an adorable voice.
Yeah.
And is very likable in that kind of a Michael J. Fox kind of way.
Yeah.
Fox.
Huh. See what you did there.
We did there.
Full circle.
And the kids love Zootopia, obviously.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. I was like listening to like Kevin Smith would do his, top 5 with Mark Bernardin. And like Mark Bernardin would do Fat Man on Batman, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the podcast. Excellent podcast. Highly recommend it. Don't really listen to it anymore. But yeah, Mark Bernardin was kind of the film critic guy who would always list the critic movies. And Kevin Smith would list movies like Zootopia.
Movies that people actually would like to watch.
Yeah. He was so like taken aback by that movie. And I loved it. So it was one of those like pleasantly surprising movies.
Yeah.
I thought it, looked kind of generic from the trailers early.
But then
I walked out of that movie going, that was one of the best movies of the year.
Really performed well.
Hey, if it isn't Flopsy the Copsy.
We both know those weren't moldy onions I caught you stealing. What were you going to do with those night howlers, Weaselton?
Number 3 is an earned spot. It's the movie Cars Knocked Out. I kind of hated myself for it a little bit, but I had to be true to myself.
You gotta be.
Gotta be true to myself. All right, so number 3?
Number 3.
You're going to be mad at me because I feel like this topic was created for one of the movies that you're going to say is number 1. But I really wrestled with this, and we've had discussions offline, I guess you'd say, like what we considered to be the greatest animated movies of all time. Anyway, spoiler alert, because I'm going to go ahead and say it. Number 3, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
It's number 1 on my list. number 1.
It's so good, but I hesitate.
Tied with something else.
It's the kind of movie that over time, and this is just a thing with me, I hesitate putting new movies right at the top. I like movies to kind of earn it for a while. Let it settle, like resonate. Like, how do I love this movie after 30 viewings as much as I did the first time? And I might too, but I've only seen it the one time still, and I own it. But for whatever reason, like my wife was like, I don't really watch Spider-Man, but like I'm just gonna put it in because my kids loved it. My daughter especially loved it. But yeah, it's a beautiful movie out of nowhere. And I know how much you enjoy Spider-Man 2 could be a part of it. I like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's one of the greatest characters in any comic bookdom. And it's a great time to be a Spider-Man fan right now because you got 2 excellent Spider-Mans. Miles Morales in this movie. Like, I was never keen to it's my ignorance too, is like how comic books work. There's been lots of Spider-Mans. I'm only familiar with Peter Parker because that's just what Hollywood keeps pumping out is Peter Parker, and cartoons too. But there's been other Spider-Man, and Miles Morales is like the current day Spider-Man. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's like this like mixed Latino black family. Yep. He's a kid, just like but he's like a young kid. He seems even younger than like Peter Parker. And I don't know, like I didn't resist it because I'm like a racist or anything, because I picked the chocolate donuts when it's donut day at work. I have a black friend and I eat the chocolate donuts, so that's how you know that I'm not a racist.
I have a black friend and I eat the chocolate donuts. That's a t-shirt.
I always pick the chocolate cookies. The dark sugar is what I'm saying I like. But no, I just resisted it because it's like one of those things like recasting a character for the sake of diversity. But after seeing this movie, I'm like, I get it. It's this multiverse, the idea of this multiverse. And in this world, Miles Morales, who is like a great kid, like all the Spider-Mans are good. But I really was able to accept this Spider-Man for the first time and enjoy him so much, like he's become my Spider-Man. Yeah. Like I'm like willing to let Peter Parker go and embrace the Miles Morales character because they did such a good job in this movie, fleshing him out. And like I don't know the kid who played him, but he was awesome. Yeah. In the movie. But you did have all of the point of the Spider-Verse movie was you had all the different Spider-Mans, and the Spider-Man character is like really funny, like that Peter Parker plays.
Peter B. Parker?
It's Sweatpants Spider-Man, which is one of my favorite alt versions of Spider-Man. Yeah, he's so good in it. And the relationship between him, and I should let you speak to this movie more because we're probably not going to talk about it a whole lot. And it is your number 1. Yeah, we've had discussions more than once about what we think the greatest animated movie of all time was, and you were like Spider-Man and Spider-Man, my number one. And I'm like,
that was the easiest one for me to pick.
So it's so good, and I left that movie on such a high, which is a great sign. You know, like you leave a movie theater on a high, and you just thinking about it all the time. Is that movie did all of those things.
It had so much, like it was because there's I love the music in the movie was such a great great accent to it.
Yeah.
And when
the Notorious B.I.G. scene.
And
with his uncle, and
yeah,
he rolls the bass, the knob of the bass. I love that scene. It gave me tingles.
When the news comes on and they say sad news tonight, Spider-Man is dead. The song was playing. Like I listen to that song, and that song will get me like choked up because it's like there's so many moments in that movie that are because there's that they start in with that.
Yeah.
And it's this emotional time where this whole New York is reflecting on the Spider-Man is dead.
Yeah.
And then you have Miles go into the shop and he buys the costume from Stan Lee, and that's his cameo. And it's just like
that's like
the
cameo is
it's
the best Stan Lee.
I think cameo. That I would say I would agree with that. That is the best Stan Lee.
And it's so handled so well.
And it's such a good lasting like this, because Spider-Man I think was his favorite.
I think you're right.
And it was just like, it was so, I mean, like, it's just that, I think that was one of the things about the movie to me. It was like, I don't know that I've ever watched another animated movie that has so much emotional, I mean, genuinely emotionally challenging scenes, and in a number of different ways. I mean, by the end, when you have the Peter B. Parker and Miles Morales, when he's holding on to him, and right before he lets him go, it's like, I like that. I mean, all of it. It just, there's so many different things, so many different layers and levels to how they built that up, and Miles and his dad, the relationship there, and how it's challenged. And how
it was a great relationship. Love it so much.
And then him and his uncle, and that's his, the crux of his, of his loss.
That was his Spider-Man moment.
Yeah.
I enjoyed so much when they start having you have this realization, because superhero movies and even Disney movies so many times will use that device of a parent's death to motivate the character, and for you to get, I guess, an easy, cheap way for you to get on the same, like get behind this character emotionally. And he had both of his parents, and it turned out to be his uncle. And it's like, oh, okay, so for Peter Parker, obviously it was his uncle, or it was like his father figure basically, but it wasn't his real dad. And we're so used to seeing that scene played out in a bunch of movies. And with Gwen, it was Peter.
Peter was her friend.
It was her friend. And then, it even goes into like the whole, like, I don't know much about the Japanese one or whatever, with the girl and the robot. I don't really understand that one.
Yeah.
But, Spider-Ham, like, he had one too. And they each had like their moment that, like, where they kind of cemented themselves as Spider-Man. And I enjoyed that so much. But yeah, with Miles, it ends up being his uncle too.
And it fit so well in the story because he felt like this fish out of water, because he was at this preppy school.
Yeah.
He wanted to be with all of his friends at his old school. That stuff, but it was challenging him to be better than what he was.
And I like that Gwen kind of got planted early on that too. Like, she was kind of the girl. She was the girl, and they kind of made the eyes and stuff, but she was just there all along because she got pulled in.
And he had the assignment to write a paper about the Great Expectations. What are his, what does he want out of life? And he really had no frame of reference. And his uncle was, his dad was hard on him, and he loved his dad, but like there was friction there.
Oh yeah.
So his uncle was kind of like this is the guy that I go to for.
He's the one he looked up to.
He looked up to him, and so they go and they do the Great Expectations.
Yeah,
graffiti.
and he had no idea that he was. It was one of those kind of plot turns that you see coming, really.
Yeah.
Because he just sort of mysteriously would disappear on business or whatever. But yeah, it's one of those like villains that he's a villain, but is he?
Yeah.
Because he was like the masked bad guy, really, for Miles through the first part of the movie. And then, of course, they had that moment where he like lifts up his mask, which was, again, so emotional.
Yep.
And he pulls it down so he doesn't reveal his identity. And then he gets shot by Kingpin. who again was really cool character.
Yeah.
Like that Kingpin by, was it Liev Schreiber?
Yeah, Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, who was awesome as Kingpin.
And even his motivation is like, because we have frames of reference for the character of Kingpin.
Yeah.
He was in the first Daredevil movie.
Yeah.
He was in the Daredevil TV show.
Yeah.
And so there's frames of reference
and
for
the Netflix show. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was,
well, that's what you were speaking of.
Yeah, but there's a frame of reference for who he is, and there's to have this his motivation be the loss of his family.
Yeah. Oh, it makes the character so much more. I like layers of villains. I don't like a villain just because they want to be bad and take over, like be the ruler of the universe. There's nothing to that. It's like you want to be powerful.
He was willing to destroy the entire known universe to get his wife and his son back.
Just to have a chance.
Yeah.
Just to have a chance. And he kind of gets it for like a second, which is also tragic. So there's all kinds of layers to the movie.
Yeah.
It's a masterfully well done job. That's not even, we haven't even talked about how the movie looks.
Yeah, the visuals of it are I mean, as much as people talk about movies like Avatar for the visuals, I'm like, to me, this and I know they did something with the animation where they would like dropped frames.
Yeah, it's on twos, I think is what they call it. Like there's traditionally film is 24 frames per second. That's what the eye perceives as smooth animation. And I think it does it on twos, but maybe on ones. Like ones is 24, twos is like 12 frames. Okay. And so there are moments where you, as a style choice, I feel like they animated it on twos, which is I don't like that. Like it makes me a little nauseous, and I was afraid that the movie might stylistically it's beautiful, and it almost looks like claymation or something like the way it moves, but it never once made me nauseous like actually watching the movie. And that, but you know how like when people would complain of being nauseous like when they would watch like those like Cloverfield, and like I never got that, but like I know that people who are friends, but like people I know would watch it and it's like I can't watch that.
Yeah,
it's not just stuff you read online. There's out of like 2 or 3 out of every 10 people just can't literally watch it because it makes them sick to their stomach and queasy. So I was afraid that would happen with this movie, but no, and that's why I think maybe it is 24 frames. I don't know. I haven't looked into it officially.
But they did something specific with the animation, and it was nice because it worked well like with the plot. It wasn't necessarily just for the because there was that whole jerky like when things were out of sync and they would start jerking, and then just that like the comics how they used to be printed. Way back when the print type, where you would see the dots, like they integrated that into the so it was, and just the whole aesthetic of Miles being so everybody knows the Peter Parker, the clean cut, science nerd kid. Here's Miles really isn't a different kind of kid, but he's from a different place and a different time,
right?
And so it was nice because it really
he's still from Queens. He's essentially the same character, good heart, intelligent, that's just one of the prerequisites of becoming Spider-Man, I guess.
There was this different quality to him that made him unique, and I felt like they had that in the character, and they had it in the art, and they had it in the music, and they just wove everything together in a really compelling story that was emotionally packed. And I was like, this is not something, because I walked out of that movie, I was like, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not, like, for as great as the story was in Zootopia, it's like, to me, Spider-Man was like, okay, this, like, my kids loved it. I probably watched it 15, 16 times. And so we watch it pretty regularly. I have it downloaded on my phone. The boys were watching it when we were waiting for brunch on Mother's Day. So we watch it pretty regularly. We listen to the music. And so it's just one of those, like, every time I watch them, just like, I'll get emotional at certain parts. I'm like, this is just such a good movie, and it's animated. And you don't usually get that.
It looks like nothing we've ever seen. It sounds like nothing we've ever seen. It's got a wonderful story. The best Stan Lee cameo, I think we both agree. The story is just the best. Fleshed out villains, sympathetic villains. it is just wonderful, and I hate to go back to the whole like harping on the technical aspect. I think that I've read that the action sequences were animated on ones, and like scenes where they were talking like just heads. I think maybe they were animated on twos.
That would make sense.
Yeah, which is probably why I never felt nauseous. Like, because there's that whole scene where like Peter Parker's passed out and like Miles is kind of he's attached to the subway and like that looked just great. Just looked great. Never felt jerky at all.
And I liked, because I have far more invested in the Peter Parker Spider-Man story. And a lot.
Well, we all do.
I know, I've spent a lot of time. I did read a bunch of Spider-Man comics. I used to love the Spider-Man cartoon. I have Spider-Man trading cards. I was big into Spider-Man. So Spider-Man is very
Spider-Man birthday parties.
My 14th birthday party is a Spider-Man birthday.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like your 4th birthday.
No.
Okay.
It's like 14. I was still doing Spider-Man. Like I love.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I love me some Spider-Man. So he is very near and dear to my heart. And so it was just. There was so much about the Miles Morales character that I was unaware of, but the way that they put him together and the way that they presented everything about it was just like it was so nice to have a fresh take on something that I was so familiar with. There's all these elements, but then you take villains that Scorpion was a different iteration of Scorpion. You had Doc Ock, but
a surprise reveal of Doc Ock.
Yeah. So it's like you have these characters that are some were true to their normal or their already established selves, and then there's others like, okay, this is a new iteration, a new incarnation of a character I'm familiar with, and I liked that. And even Lily Tomlin as Aunt May. I love that. She was such a great, strong character in that.
Because it was her Peter from the beginning that died.
Yeah. And
who was it Chris Pine?
Chris Pine did him.
The all-American, blonde-haired Peter Parker,
and
basically.
His Christmas album. I love that. The humor in it was really great, too.
Yeah. I love that the melted, popsicle or whatever. There's, a guy that I follow. He has a website called Dinosaur Dracula, where I think that's his picture. I think he actually took that picture and did a story featuring that picture, because he was like, yeah, my popsicle was nominated and won an Academy Award. That's
nice.
Me. And so shout out to Dinosaur Dracula and his podcast, the Purple Stuff podcast. But it was so cool to see that.
Yeah.
So much fan service paid in the right kind of way.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of movie that I want to see others I want to see them not treat it like a one-off. It looked expensive as hell, and it of course made good money. It didn't make Avengers money, but it did make good money.
I could tell you the budget on that movie.
What was the budget?
$90 million.
That's it. That was just well spent.
The meme I saw the other day was $90 million to make Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, $90 million to make Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ugh.
So that's you can
and that going to go up because of redesigning.
You can make a fantastic, amazing movie for $90 million, or you can make.
Now, wasn't that done by the Lego guys too?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's when they got kicked off the Han Solo movie. I think they went to this project.
Yeah, and I'm glad they did.
Oh God, yes.
There's
their humor.
There's all kinds of
present in that movie.
Oh, John Mulaney as Spider-Ham was. I mean, they were just.
Is this a dimension where humans talk?
Oh, he was so fantastic.
Was.
And it was just it worked so well. I mean, there were so many great notes. It's like he could cut the tension in a moment. Somebody would say something. Yeah. It was a joke, and it worked so well in so many different ways.
Oh yeah,
I just love that.
Much needed comedic relief. Yeah. I want to see more studios treat properties I would love to see a rebooted G.I. Joe movie done in this way. I would love to see a Transformers movie done in this way.
Yep.
They just treated the property with so much respect.
I would love to see a Transformers movie that was all like the beginning of Bumblebee.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, hell freaking yeah! I don't think they'll ever do it because they got a hard on for the live action.
Because they can't get Stan Bush.
They had him in They had him in Bumblebee.
That's true.
All right, I don't want to talk about it because I wanted to spend a little extra time on this because it's in both of our lists.
Then 15 years passed, blah, blah, blah. I buried Aunt May. My wife and I split up, but I handled it like a champion. Flash forward, I'm in my apartment doing push-ups, doing ab crunches, getting strong. When this weird thing happened.
All right, so what's your number 3?
My number 3.
Mr. Peterson.
That was So my number 2.
Oh, sorry.
My number 2. All right. So my number 2. This is my other one before 2000, and I think this may. I think I can say that this is my favorite Disney movie.
Okay.
Which is why I'm so adamant against the live action movie that's about to come out with William Smith as the genie. William Smith.
Mr. Jada Pinkett. Never
Aladdin, I think, is my favorite Disney movie. And I don't own it on Blu-ray. I've owned it on VHS and on DVD. I'd like to get it on Blu-ray, but right now it's in the vault for the Blu-ray. You can't just go to Amazon and buy it. You can go to eBay and buy it for $60.
I'm so glad that when this Disney Plus comes out and the whole idea of the vault gets just forever retired.
Flush that away.
Yeah, it's so antiquated, and like all antiquated things, like you have a warm spot because it's just the way it's been.
Yeah,
you're like, I just want to watch these movies.
Just let me watch Aladdin.
Thankfully, I have Aladdin on Blu-ray. When they released, whatever, maybe
there's like the
20th
Diamond edition, Platinum edition.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah,
and all kids love Robin Williams. Any period, Robin Williams period. But in this role especially, this is the definitive Robin Williams.
I dressed up as him one year for Halloween, the genie.
Okay, I was like, Robin Williams?
Yes, I dressed up. I covered myself in hair.
Yeah, because he is the hairiest person on the earth.
Went out and just did really.
How did that go again?
I don't remember. I don't remember how I did that. My
no one can do Robin Williams.
My sporadic impressions aren't nearly as good as the Bobcat. That one's still my favorite.
Hot to Trot.
Yes.
Great movie. Love it. John Candy.
Yes.
Anyway. Aladdin is... So Aladdin came out
92.
In the Renaissance. When?
92.
92. So it went Little Mermaid, which was going to be in my list. It's not spoiler alert, but it was. It got bumped out. Again, by cars. But it's awesome. And so that kicked it off. Then you had, I guess, was it Aladdin first, then Lion King? Or was it...
Aladdin
Well, Beauty and the Beast came out after Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
So Aladdin was the fourth of the...
that might be.
Okay. Because did you say Lion King came out before or after?
I think Lion King was after. I think.
Okay, so Aladdin would have been the third.
Yeah.
So they really hit their stride.
Yeah.
Disney is on top of they're the masters of their game at this point. Great songs like, oh my God, those friggin' Whole New World.
Yeah. Peebo Bryson. You get yourself some Peebo Bryson on a soundtrack. Oh boy, you are set.
Ooh-wee. What do you say about that, Mr. Poopy Butthole?
Ooh-wee. I love Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Mr. Poopy Butthole's the best. Oh, yeah. Season 4, man. November. Rick and Morty, it's back.
It's coming back.
See a little teaser where they had with him and I don't want to be the one to say it.
You want me to say something, Morty, or did you want to?
You do it.
We're coming back. We're gonna be back for a fourth season.
November 2019.
November this year.
I love that. I love it so much. It's gonna be grand. We only had to wait like a year and a half or so.
Less than Game of Thrones.
Less than Game of Thrones, and I wonder how many petitions they'll have signed at the end of
0.
It's gonna be the best.
It's gonna be the best.
But back to, I don't know what even to say about Aladdin. It's just so good.
Yeah, I mean it spawned.
It's
TV
the
series.
number one subliminal sex message for kids movie, bar none.
Great video games.
The Sega Genesis version of Aladdin is a classic.
Yes.
But yeah, you got the songs.
There was a Disney afternoon TV show that came from it.
From what I understand, it's decent.
Yeah, it was quite. There were 2 sequels. They had The Return of Jafar.
I don't count the.
And then they had where you found out his dad was one of the 40 thieves. I think.
You own those 2 movies, don't you?
Probably.
No. Okay. Because you can't.
Because you can't.
You can't find them.
Otherwise, I would.
You import them in from the same place you got the Punisher.
That's true.
I didn't see Aladdin in theaters, but I've seen it numerous times. I don't hold it as dear as some of the other more recent Disney animated movies, but it's in the top 3. It's in the top 3.
Yeah, it's definitely, because it was just, it hit. I mean, 92. I was 9.
Yeah.
And so it was. I mean, it just.
That was my spastic Robin Williams.
I could do like, it was a red bay fruiting. You know, his
Mrs. Doubtfire. So okay.
Oh, hello.
See, okay, now I say Robin Williams' Genie is his definitive, but I think it's actually Mrs. Doubtfire. You got Mrs. Doubtfire, Good Morning Vietnam, and the Genie, are probably the 3, and Mork. So many things.
He's very multi-talented,
beloved.
And I think that's why it's one of those. I'm like,
hurts so hard that he committed suicide. Again, it's such a bummer. Don't kill yourself, kids.
Don't kill yourself.
Don't do yourself. Okay.
We've talked about a lot of people.
Even if you don't have a 1.5% of Robin Williams' talent, just don't do it, because you'll make somebody sad.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be sad.
He made a lot of people sad.
A lot of people sad. I remember, I think I was watching Conan O'Brien's show. And, you know, like, there's kind of, like, tape delayed where they found out. Like, I think they recorded, like, 6 o'clock, and the news was right around that time. And then you see the movie, like, late, like 11:30 or whatever. I don't think I've ever seen Conan O'Brien sadder.
Yeah.
When he announced to the studio audience that Robin Williams was pronounced dead.
I mean, such a talented guy, and just had done so many amazing things.
Such a people pleaser.
Yeah, I mean, like, his career. Like, I was watching. It was a clip of him the other day. He was in the Dick Cavett show back in the 70s.
70s, yeah.
And he and Dick Cavett. I mean, they just they off the cuff, total improv. They did this Shakespearean scene where they just made it up together. They spoke as though it was a Shakespearean play, and they were just going back and forth off each other. And it was fantastic. And he was just that. I mean, like, he's the greatest
ad-libber that ever lived.
Oh my gosh,
it's not even close.
No, he is the king of ad-libbing. And I think because and especially, like, there were a lot of things that he was doing. Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many things right there in that time frame when I was. I mean, like, when I was deciding what kind of movies I liked to watch. Like, it wasn't just like, these are the movies we have available. It's like, I want to watch this movie. I want to watch that movie. And I was like, Robin Williams was just such a, he was such this tour de force, I was just...
The thing about Robin Williams that made him so special too is his dramatic roles were just so... How was he so good in these dramatic roles? Like The Fisher King and Awakenings and then Good Will Hunting and the list goes on and on. No one could play sad like Robin Williams too, which makes it even more traumatic.
And that was the thing, is like, you when you see his life, as it was comprised, you're like, okay, this is a guy who, when the cameras were off, when the lights were off, when everybody else went off to go do something else, it was a guy that was deeply entrenched in his own sadness.
Yeah.
And he did so much to make so many people laugh that no one ever knew. And because that was the thing, when you hear the news, like, oh, such and such celebrity died.
Yeah.
It's always kind of weird, because you have them in some frame of reference, like, oh, that's a person I know. I don't know them, but I know of them. And it doesn't normally affect me. But when Robin Williams, when I heard that, like, that really bummed me out. I got sad that he died.
It's like a part of you dies with it. When a celebrity dies and you love that celebrity for whatever reason, you think back to all the things you loved them for. Robin Williams was beloved in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. I mean, just probably 5 decades worth of quality work. So, if you're somebody in our age range, he's just, you knew him even though you didn't know him. He was one of those guys, like, where I would imagine, like, one day when, like, Kevin Smith were to die, like, it would affect me greatly. Yeah. Just because, he's just always been, like, there.
Yeah.
And, Robin
and they're
Williams.
not. And you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah, and then you're like, I can't have any more Robin Williams. Yeah. Even though there's enough work to last a lifetime. You can always go back and enjoy it. That was the thing, too, is watching all of the movies again for the first time post-mortem.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching movies like Hook with, like, a whole new appreciation. Obviously, like, Mrs. Doubtfire, watching that, just, like, getting choked up watching these movies. It's like, man, the dude is dead.
And I think that's, like, I joke about it. It was like, I'm sorry, but Will Smith is just not. He is not.
I really like Will Smith, too, but why why would you do it, man?
I think it's like, and to me, it's so funny because like there's so many other Disney movies that you could go live action, and I just don't know why you would gravitate directly towards that one. It was like there's no one in the cast that's any kind of compelling, and the one character that they have that drove the movie.
Yeah.
They've cast.
Who's going to be Iago?
To me, it's when I was like, oh, why would you not just get Gilbert Gottfried to do it again? Why not?
He's still around and like totally in tip-top
like
shape.
You got James Earl Jones to do Mufasa.
Yeah.
It's like, why not get? I was like, why not get Gilbert Gottfried?
Bobcat Goldthwait is Iago.
I think Bobcat Goldthwait would be a great Jafar. I
could see that.
Get him and Gilbert Gottfried together. Oh my goodness, that
hilarity!
Would be fantastic.
Now I will go see the movie. It's one of those things that I'm gonna see it at a drive-in. I've already decided we're gonna see it at a drive-in because it's like a movie. You need to see a movie like that at the drive-in to be enjoyable because you just in a
you can
theater
do something
setting.
else while you're
I
don't
know.
Pay attention to the movie.
It's just kind of like enjoyable trash, honestly. And most of these, if it's not a Jon Favreau movie, I have no faith in it.
Yeah.
And the what was the one with Maleficent was actually decent, I thought, but most of them are not good. They're either just a straight up same movie or a disappointing.
And it's when I was like, okay, I get that it's the iteration for kids today. It's like what's wrong with them having the one that we had when we were kids,
right?
Because those
was it not good enough for your generation? Like it wasn't our generations. We had inherited these movies.
Yeah, it's like, and the animated ones are fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, they're the best. Those like 80s and 90s, even in the early 2000s, animated they're the last of the 2D animated movies.
Atlantis.
The hand drawn. Yeah, that was good. I liked Atlantis. Now there's some, even in going back to the 80s with like the Great Mouse Detective. Had elements of CGI in it, but it was still mostly hand drawn.
Ratigan. Professor Ratigan.
I love Ratigan, yeah.
Vincent Price. Can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that. It's the great Vincent Price. You can't just say Vincent Price. Show some respect, man.
Sorry.
I need some podcast water.
Yeah, I've been dipping into mine.
Cool, refreshing podcast water.
This is purified. It's enhanced with minerals for taste.
It's enhanced with minerals for your podcasting listening desires. I want to do like a Ron Burgundy ad read for one of these bad boys.
Good food, good life.
Whatever happened to your ads?
Oh, I need to write some more of those.
Okay.
Some of our
we're gonna debut that feature sooner or later.
We have some advertisers that would like.
This guy is working hard, coming up with fun new ideas for the show. He really is. All the quality of the show is hinging off this guy right here.
Not hardly. If that was the case, I would say just smash everything in this room and never podcast again because I'm not.
He's being modest.
No,
Aladdin, going back to Aladdin, yes. I enjoy making this almost more of a Robin Williams discussion than it is actually making this an Aladdin discussion.
Because Aladdin's just great.
It's just great. It's like, it's like talking about E.T. or whatever.
Yeah,
even though you disagree, but it's how do you talk up a classic?
Yeah.
So that's Aladdin, and it's your number 2. So it's your highest rated, not yet to be revealed movie for you.
I do have. I have one that I can sub in for one too because I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't delve too far into it, but it's an animated movie you won't see coming. You won't see it coming.
Is it?
It's a twist.
Romeo and Juliet.
No.
Okay.
What? 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. Hang on a second. Wow! Wow! Does it feel good to be out of there?
All right, so my number 2. With Johnny Depp.
Sherlock
I can't believe they made a
Holmes,
sequel to that. Jesus Christ.
A sequel to a movie that we didn't need in the first place.
I didn't even know. Yeah. Well, right. Like, that movie was successful enough to get a sequel?
And
they paid Johnny Depp money to make it? What the hell were they thinking? That's a bankrupt a studio kind of decision right
James McAvoy did the Romeo, and Jason Statham did in the first one, I think.
Did he really?
Maybe not. Maybe I'm making that up.
That is awesome, actually. I would love that.
I hope that's the case.
More Jason Statham and everything.
Nothing beats a classic.
Oh, yes. Number 2 for me.
All right.
And we're into the nitty gritty for me. Like I hold the Pixar movies in high regard. Not only because they look beautiful, because they just seem to have the best stories. And Inside Out is my number 2. Now
I know that's a big one for you.
It seems to be on the surface a wholly original concept, but in fact, in reality, it's not. There was a show on Fox early on. In the early days of Fox, like, I want to say late 80s, early 90s, called Herman's Head.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Where it was a similar premise.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a early 20s guy who had the different personalities going on up in his head, and it didn't have any of the heart Inside Out does. But it's like, I remember seeing the first trailer for Inside Out and being very turned off immediately, because I was like, they made Herman's Head
into a movie,
like a kids movie,
an animated kids movie.
Pixar is doing like 2-season Fox shows that would never get to go anywhere else with Fox. Like, they would just put anything on in those early days. And so but when you see it, you got Amy Poehler is delightful. All the characters are good, but I mean, she's strong enough to carry the whole movie. But yeah, I like Mindy Kaling as the icky, like,
Was it Envy? Was that what she was?
Was that what she is? Yeah,
Jealousy.
she was like the typical, like, teenish type. And Bill Hader is who played like the what, I don't know what his character would be, but he was very cautious. He was like the one
the purple guy.
Yeah, the purple guy. Then you had who played Anger?
Lewis Black.
Lewis Black is perfect as Anger. But the best casting is the girl from The Office, Phyllis as Sadness. And I mean, few movies like make me emotional like Inside Out like does. I mean, it's such a beautiful story of transitioning from childhood to a young adulthood, and that whole like letting go of that innocence. But that transition is so tough for kids, but even tougher for adults seeing their kids growing up. And as a parent of, like, you watch these Pixar movies as a parent with young kids, and it's just like, they just like rip your heart out in a totally different way than like Disney used to do with killing off a parent. They're like all these existential, like, heartbreaking things, So with Riley, she starts out as a baby, and she has this like great relationship with her parents, and everything is great, kind of like how it is with like me and my kids right now. Like, everything's just great because you don't have the hormones raging, and she becomes like the teen. Not only is she like becoming a teenager, but she's also uprooting her life and moving to a whole new city where everything's just categorically shittier than where they were in Minnesota, I think is where they came from.
Yeah, because she played hockey.
She played hockey, and and like, so they're moving from like Minnesota to like California or something like that, like a San Francisco like city,
like the Lakers did.
much like the Lakers. Things worked out better for the Lakers though. Riley didn't have Magic Johnson running the show.
That would have been interesting and awkward, and I would have liked that twist. Like if Magic Johnson was another one of the voices in her head.
Vladi Divac is who I would love to have rolling around up in her head.
It's like she's got all these different emotions, and then just Magic Johnson like, hey, maybe we should go play some basketball. Like, I don't even like basketball. What? I was just like these random.
I was about to talk about the Bing Bong scene, and you brought that up.
You got me with
I needed to. Like, I needed something happy. Because that's the whole kind of point of Inside Out. It's like, you can't be happy all the time. Joy wants to be happy all the time. She's constantly suppressing sadness. But the joyous moments are so much sweeter when following a sad moment.
Yes.
Which is what she comes to understand at the end of the movie. That's kind of the whole gist of the flick. And the Bing Bong scene to me, though, is if that doesn't make you misty-eyed, or even in my case cry, you don't have a soul. Because poor Bing Bong is just holding on to the childhood. Bing Bong is the parent holding on to the childhood, or anybody holding on to their childhood. And he more or less has to sacrifice himself to get Joy up,
to save everything.
To save everything. And, you know, they plant those seeds with Bing Bong so well throughout the movie, because he's always talking about how being excited and he wants to fly to the moon in his, like, rocket-powered wagon or whatever. That, you know, and I love the scene where they're seemingly headed back and Bing Bong's with them and they're on the train and Joy's, like, hugging her happy moments in the sack and she's, like, looking at them and she's older now. So, like, Bing Bong is, like, looking over her shoulder. He's like, she looks so big now. How could she ever fit in the wagon with me? At that moment, he's starting to realize that she's older now. Like, she's just no longer ever going to be, like, that little kid anymore. And I think that's what makes the Bing Bong character such an emotional thing for me. Is like, when he realizes that it can no longer ever be. And making that decision a no-brainer at the end when he gets her to go up. So yeah, the Bing Bong scene, and then quickly followed up with like the whole scene where like Riley's sad, and then her hockey friends show up and she's happy, and then that's the Joy's like light bulb moment happens. So the whole flick is good, and it's very like, you know, the whole, there's a lot of humor in it. Yeah, obviously, lots and lots of humor. I enjoy all the like scenes where they have all the different person's heads. Yes. Like there's the dad scene, like we're putting the foot down, you know, and then there's the mom, of course, like she's got her whole like mom heads. The range of emotions. They're so it's so funny, and then they even like go as far as to have like the dog and the cat and just everything. Everybody has their heads. That played well. Everybody has their Herman's heads, more or less. So that movie, I've seen it a bunch of times. I just watched it a couple of days ago because it's always on like the Disney Channel, and everyone enjoys it. Kids enjoy, like, they don't get the gravity of all the sad moments. There's a lot, because there's a lot of depth to that movie. Tons and tons of depth, and that's the Pixar trademark. It upsets me when you don't, like, when they sacrifice a Cars 2 for an Inside Out. Or when they sacrifice an Inside Out for a Cars 2. Yeah. Because, you know, like it takes them so long to make these movies, they can only put so many out. And, like, right now, they're kind of in this whole, we're sequelizing all of our big movies. You know, like they had Cars 3, and then they had Incredibles 2, and then they're about to have Toy Story 4. And I think I remember reading recently, like, we're done with the sequels for a while. We're going to go back to original stories. Thank God. That would be fantastic. Because even like Coco, which kind of came out and was mostly ignored by I think a lot of people. Good movie. It was so good. That was a great movie. That's another one of those movies that just made me so emotional. Yeah. Like my kid cried. First time I ever saw my kid like cry over something that wasn't like losing the Nintendo Switch for like 10 minutes. Like something choked him up, and like which of course sets me off. Chain reaction, man. So yeah, the Pixar movies are great for that. So that's my justification for putting them above. Like you have well thought out reasons for like your Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you know it also makes you emotional, and you have an attachment to Spider-Man that's rooted in you. Like it's part of your DNA. It is a part of me. I don't have that for Spider-Man. I have it for Transformers. Like if something like that would ever happen with like a Transformers property, I would totally feel the same way. Totally, it would be right in my top 3. What's you know, like it was hard for me to like. I almost put Transformers the movie in my top 5, and another was like, how can I not put that in there? Because it's also one of the most gorgeous. It was like it came out during a time when Disney was shit in the 80s, and you know, like you had your Don Bluth, and then you had the Transformers movie, which was, you know, obviously a bomb. 86. So 80s, it came out in 86. And it was the last good thing, really, the Transformers franchise property produced, I think, because then the cartoon carried on for like another year or so, but it wasn't the same. And but it was beautiful. It was beautiful music, beautiful animation. Like cost a ton of money for its time, lost its ass. Had Stan Bush. It had Stan Bush in it. StanBush.com. You got the touch. Reach out, Stan Bush, if you happen to be listening or watching us. If you check his website, as he recommended when I went and saw it, there was this interview. He's like, check StanBush.com. So he's keeping it. He's got the domain. I immediately checked out StanBush.com upon his recommendation, and it let me know he had an album coming out the year before. So it hadn't been updated? Yeah. Why would you promote your website and you know you haven't updated so like it? I think I went and saw it last September because I was like, oh, you got a new album coming out in September 2017. Okay.
Well, that was a year ago. So
that's no longer new.
Maybe you should, if you want people to check out your website, maybe you should update it.
Although, granted, no one would expect Stan Bush to have anything come out in the last 2 decades.
No.
This century. So he's doing really well in that regard. But that's all I'm going to say. That's all I've got about Inside Out, because we got to, move on.
Sir, she just rolled her eyes at us.
What is her deal? All right, make a show of force. I don't want to have to put the foot down.
No, not the foot.
Riley, I do not like this new attitude.
Oh, I'll show you attitude.
No. Stay happy!
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Sir, reporting high levels of sass.
Okay, so since I stole your number 1, you have a substitute.
Yeah.
What's your substitute? Animated
Deadpool.
movie?
Mostly just because I'm being liberal with it. In the segment towards the end when he's fighting Francis, there's one. I think there's a Chicago song playing, and there's like 3 or 4 animated little critters that come out. That's my only way of connecting it to the animated universe.
Fair enough.
So Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds. You had to work in Ryan Reynolds into this.
I have Turbo. I didn't put the Croods.
Turbo was good. I like Turbo.
Turbo's one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah. Turbo surprisingly is entertaining.
It's a really good movie. It's just one I was like, I can't fit it in the top 5.
DreamWorks can't be in here twice.
I can't put Turbo in the top 5 because there are things that outrank it. But Ryan Reynolds, I will always mention Ryan Reynolds.
So should we go ahead and skip on to my number 1?
Go to your number 1.
I mean,
is it also Deadpool? All right, we're done.
Wouldn't that be an amazing surprise if we both
Deadpool?
I didn't even have to put it in there because I didn't have anything else. I had it just originally.
Just ready to go.
No, Toy Story is my number 1.
I kind of thought that might be.
That's another one of those great, not as emotional. I think the sequels get way more emotional.
The third one especially. And I have a feeling this 4th one's also going to be very tear-jerky, although I feel like they're kind of hiding that from us. Everything I've seen in the trailers to this point have been very kind of upbeat. Especially because they have the Key and Peele new characters. Yeah.
The Forky guy or whatever. He's very kind of silly. And I have a feeling it's gonna have to be tear-jerky. Is that who that is? Tony Hale? I love Tony Hale.
Buster
Bluth. Good stuff. He was also in the Chipmunk, the Road Chip.
I don't think I saw that one.
It's not that bad, actually. I like the Chipmunk movies. They're okay.
I don't think
they're okay. I'm advocating for the Chipmunks.
How many? I don't know how many they made.
4 actually. They're highly successful. They always make good money. There will be another one. I'm sure. Jason Lee will be making friggin' Chipmunk movies until he's well into his 60s.
Which is so funny for me because when I think about him being like a skateboard punk.
Yeah, he's Brody.
The 90s, and he's Brody.
He'll always be Brody.
The stink palm is like that's the guy.
Hey, would you like a chocolate pretzel?
That's the guy that's raising the chipmunks?
That's Dave.
What the heck happened?
I know, but it's a paycheck. It's a good paycheck.
Nothing wrong with that. People always diss it. It's like, if I could
Don't you badmouth Jason Lee. I love Jason Lee.
If I could go make a Chipmunks movie and they'd pay me a bunch of money, it's like, I would do it tomorrow.
Hells yeah, you would. Don't even say
then I wouldn't have to do anything ever again.
That's great. I just got to talk to a tennis ball for the rest of my life.
It's like, I can do that.
And make good money. I do it anyway, actually.
I'm talking to myself most of the time. It's like, give me a tennis ball. That's at least something else. It's something I'm looking at and talking. It's not just
sort of object you're staring into, not just
the abyss of my own head.
the middle distance.
Yeah.
There could be something you're looking at.
Envisioning myself sitting across from myself, talking back and forth to myself. I was like, talking to a tennis ball might seem crazy, but
it's a step up.
It's a step up for me. Ooh, that's a step
on
in
the
right direction.
Scale.
This is something everyone else in the room can see, at least.
Oh, thank God he's talking to a tennis ball.
He's talking to a tennis ball. Okay, well.
Used to be nothing. Used to be cantaloupe.
It's better than talking to Fairbanks Delacourt. Or Winston Lovelace. Those are two great.
The hell, man! I'm trying to why can't I place those?
It's a very, 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 very obscure reference from the television show Trial and Error.
Okay. So all right, you've told me about that, and that's why it's in my crawl. Not my crawl. I'm not pissed, but
son of a.
I'm using my phrases incorrectly again. But Toy Story. But Toy Story.
What we were talking about.
I mean, again, it's like Aladdin. What the hell can you say about Toy Story? I love the songs and it's
Randy Newman.
Randy Newman. You got a friend in me. Come on. Oh, let's Toy Story.
You are one sad, strange little man.
I've seen probably Toy Story a million times, and I always can watch it. It's just like the most comforting movie ever. And there aren't the highest of stakes, you know, like there's Sid, like that happy child, like that makes me laugh like every single time when like Sid's cracking up in a crazy way, and then Buzz is like that happy child.
I think one of my favorite moments of that entire movie is when he's got Woody in his hand, and he's out in the backyard, and he's gonna do, and then Woody keeps talking. He's like, "Oh, this thing's broken."
Yeah.
And then he goes into his little speech where he's talking directly to him, and Sid starts losing it. And then he breaks out of his toy form and back into Woody's. Like,
yeah.
So play nice.
Yeah.
Like, that was just a great.
It was. Nice.
I think that's my favorite moment from the entire movie.
It confuses the rules of Toy Story quite a bit, though. When you're like, "Whoa, wait, there's very clear rules in Toy Story, right?" So I guess a toy could break it, as long as you're absolutely certain no one's gonna care. No one's gonna believe Sid.
He became a garbage man.
He is a garbage man in 3, right? Not officially, I guess, but it's like the shirt.
He's got the shirt.
He's got the shirt. If you wear the shirt, you must squirt. I don't know. I was like thinking of like if the glove fits, you must have quit. If you wear the shirt, you must squirt. That's a thing, right? Although there should be like another like there has to be another like syllable in there. Like it has to be, if you wear the shirt, you must squirt. No,
It's just making it better. It's just making it better.
But the best part is like trying to figure out what the squirting is. Is it like, do you go disgusting like diarrhea? Or is it just like a water hose? Like you're just squirting a water hose? Is that another t-shirt? If you wear the shirt, you must squirt. Kind of like Italian. Like, you must squirt. If you wear the shirt, you must squirt.
I think we just
keep digging.
we just offended everyone in Italy.
I'm like, no, but you must do it.
You must. You must
squirt.
If you wear the shirt.
Oh, linguini.
Bam, boom, sandwiches.
Thank you for saving us, Jerry. Toy Story is my number one.
Why is that soldier strapped to an explosive device?
That's why. Sid.
Sure is a hairy fella.
No, that's Scud, you idiot. That is Sid.
You mean that happy child?
Let's do some quick honorable mentions, shall we? Get the hell out of here. Let's do 3 honorable mentions, okay?
Oh, no,
just real quick. I'm capping us at 3 honorable mentions apiece.
Then give me your 3 because I got.
Okay, my honorable mentions. Okay, so my first honorable mention is The Secret of Nim. Don Bluth's breakout movie, and probably his best movie.
Great book too.
I've never read it.
I don't advocate for books all that often, but that's a great book.
Kids, go find The Secret of Nim. It's streaming somewhere.
Mrs. Rigsby and The Secret of Nim.
It's so good. It's a very dark movie too, though. Yeah. Like that was kind of a signature of the whole. That was one of Don Bluth's major gripes with the Disney movies, is they were just too sanitized. So he had to like lay down this like level of darkness.
You can really see that in Rockadoodle.
He backed off of that mission statement a little bit. My second is Nightmare Before Christmas, because I love stop motion animation, and that's just like, it's not the best example because there have been like Kubo and the Two Strings is beautiful, but I mean Nightmare Before Christmas, I think with the songs just makes it the best.
It's like cemented in culture.
Yeah, and the Corpse Bride was like kind of a spiritual sequel to that, but for me not as good. And if I have to, my other one, my next honorable mention, my third and final, will be Kung Fu Panda, because it's kind of like your point with the DreamWorks. I just found it to be so funny.
Yeah.
Jack Black as an animated panda bear is it's a genius. And I really liked how they cast all the other characters too. Like Chan. Ian McShane is as I forget the name of the character. The tiger thing, like snow tiger.
It's like a snow leopard.
Yeah, snow leopard. Jackie Chan, but Dustin Hoffman as I can't remember the character either. But another one of those, like, there's been a lot of sequels, and even a like pretty decent show. I think available on Netflix, maybe. It could be a Nickelodeon show too. Right. DreamWorks had a deal with Nickelodeon where they were kind of like how Disney would do. They would do like their afternoon version, which is not as, quality, but just a step down, just a hair down. And if it's not Jack Black, they got a guy that really sounds a lot like him. So yeah, those are my 3 honorable mentions: Kung Fu Panda, Nightmare Before Christmas, and A Secret in Nim. And Little Mermaid. I'm just going to say Little Mermaid. Go ahead. Go. I stuck a 4th one in there.
That's fine. Let's see. For my honorable mentions, because I already got to say Turbo.
Yeah.
Turbo
you kind of snuck in there with Turbo, right? I like it a lot. It's really good.
It was a great movie. Sam Jackson and Ryan Reynolds. They've been in 3 movies together now.
Michael Pena.
Yes. And he's another Marvel guy.
He is another Marvel guy.
He's Luis from Ant-Man.
Yes, love it. I love his scenes. The best.
I gotta go B movie.
B movie with Jerry Seinfeld. Interesting.
Because I'm Seinfeld's my
guy. And Matthew Broderick.
Yep. Also, Seinfeld's my guy. So
I love Seinfeld. Yeah.
I was because I think that was because I can't remember if he did Comedian in 2002, which was a documentary. So B movie was like the first movie, and it may be the only movie he's ever really done. Because when he was doing stand-up, he said he wasn't going to do movies, and after Seinfeld was over, he said he wasn't going to do movies because he's like, why would I?
He stayed truthful with that.
And so when B movie was coming out, I was like, Jerry Seinfeld's in a movie, even if it's an animated. He was like, okay, that's great. So B movie, I would have to say, is one of my honorable mentions. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Just because
Bill Hader once again.
Yeah. I love the comedy in it.
It's surprisingly good.
It's a fun story for kids, but it is really genuinely hilarious.
I always was the opinion that the animation quality was a tier below some of the other like Pixar, DreamWorks. But the voice talent is top notch.
Yeah. And it was hard because Will Forte's in the sequel, but I think the first one's better than the sequel.
Yeah.
But I love Will Forte, so
they're both enjoyable.
And Andy Samberg is in both,
which makes me think of Storks, which was also surprisingly hilarious.
That was a really good movie.
I did not expect anything out of that.
And then I'll squeeze 2 in at the same time: Robin Hood and Jungle Book. The old school Disney ones.
I love the Robin. Yeah, when I was thinking Sword in the Stone, I was close to. The visual style of Robin Hood is just so good. It kind of reminds me of kind of like 101 Dalmatians too, because it's like the exaggerated like lines.
Yeah,
I feel like, and I love the like. I don't know the actor, but the one who voices Baloo, he's one of my all-time favorite Disney
because he did Little John too.
He does Little John, yeah.
Yep.
So I love Little John in that, and Sir Hiss, and so good. That's a good honorable mention. Okay, so I guess we'll move on to the final segment, which is what you haven't seen that.
What? Okay.
Another Little John. We just went from one Little John to another Little John.
What a segue! What a segue! Just like I planned it.
Yeah, an intentional.
We had a meeting. We had a 45-minute meeting about how we were going to do that.
There was no coffee cake at that meeting, even though I had requested it specifically 4 times. But I'm just.
You got your podcast water, for crying out loud. You know how expensive that is? It's like $2 for a pallet of 50.
It's flown in.
It's not Fuji.
It's flown in from a very local water source.
So what you haven't seen that is one of my favorite segments near Rad Dads, because it gives me an excuse to go back and watch a backlog of movies that I just did not even realize I had. I mean, it's like 100 deep at this point. And so like I give myself a little homework assignment, and that is what we're going to do. So do you want to reveal your first movie? Or your movie, not your first movie. What are you going to do? Is it going to be a Dustin Hoffman movie?
It is not.
Okay.
It is E.T. I'm going to watch.
Oh, yeah. Like, right.
Watch that.
We know you've seen it.
Without vomiting.
No, it's not possible.
I am going to watch The French Connection with Gene Hackman.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
I have never seen it. It is highly regarded as a great cop movie. I purchased it a couple weeks ago. I think it was after the third third or fourth showing of Endgame that I went to go see. I went and purchased. I found a copy of it and I bought
Only third or fourth showing?
I'm up to 5 now.
Okay. I saw your IMAX post.
Yes. And I still haven't taken the boys yet, so I think I have at least one more in me.
Logan dug it. He liked it a lot, so yeah.
I think I wanted to wait till it'd been out for a few weeks.
I feel like it's more kid friendly, even though like there's a very spoilery. That I guess we won't even say at this point. I want to have a discussion about Endgame soon, but we'll still squash any spoiler. But despite the ending, I feel like it's an easier watch for younger kids than Infinity War, because Infinity War ends on such a down note. Whereas Endgame, it ends on a down note too. But anyway, I won't go any further than that.
A different kind of down note.
French Connection is also too like one of those like highly. One of the great things about 70s movies, which I think this was in the 70s, right?
I think so, yeah.
Are the car chase scenes.
Yep.
It's like the lost art of car chase scenes, which is one of the reasons why I was so excited to see Baby Driver, because it kind of like brought that practical car, like not just some like CG stuff.
Yeah, not Fast and the Furious kind.
Yeah, not Too Fast, Too Furious, which is obviously CG'd in many parts. Yeah, actual stunts, man. Like dangerous, irresponsible car stunts.
Like Dirty Harry and Bullet.
Yeah, Bullet especially.
Yeah.
Long car, like Smokey and the Bandit, like just car stuff. So, I haven't seen The French Connection either. Maybe I'll seek it out too, just so that I can have a conversation with you about it. But I've seen that car chase a number of times, just like YouTube clips and award shows and stuff. And Gene Hackman is like Mr. 70s.
Yeah.
But during a time when like an ugly man could be a leading man.
Yeah.
Like it really didn't matter. And like you got to be so pretty nowadays.
Until that comes back around, I'm just out of luck.
Never going to be a leading man.
Nope.
I'm running out of time.
Character actors is going to be me.
Gene Hackman looked in his 40s even when he was probably 15. So.
Me, Brian Dennehy, and Patton Oswalt.
Character actors.
Up at the buffet. That's us.
So,
all right, so what's yours? I'm eager.
I got your attention. I have your ear.
Yep.
My what you haven't seen that is the 1984 Tom Hanks comedy Bachelor Party. One of those movies that a lot of the seminal scenes I've probably seen, but I've never actually seen it. And of course, the Donkey Show, which is what's the Clerks 2 scene is based off of, basically,
which is
amazing. Kinky Kelly and the Sexy Stud. Kelly can be a boy's name too. Ow. But no, Tom Hanks, I love this era of Tom Hanks when he's just skinny and wiry and afro hair and just like twitchy and hilarious.
Like the man with one red shoe.
No. No, I'm thinking like this came out in between Splash and, it's also like Money Pit, like that
Money
era.
Pit's great.
Yeah, of Tom Hanks, like all the way up to the late 80s on like movies like The Burbs. There was a hashtag on Twitter recently on what was the hashtag? I participate in these very seldomly, but it was, I'm not, it's like hashtag I'm not even sorry. And I made the statement of The Burbs is Tom Hanks's best movie, hashtag I'm not even sorry or whatever.
Not even sorry.
But yeah, so Bachelor Parties, it's R-rated,
It's a body. Comedy.
A body R-rated Porky's, because Porky's was big around this time.
Yeah.
So, it's probably, I wonder how woke it's going to be.
Not
very woke at all. But, Tom Hanks is like America's dad nowadays. But he was very much...
He's playing Mr. Rogers in the upcoming A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Big, another movie from that era of Tom Hanks that I just love. Even Dragnet, I really enjoy Dragnet, even though I think that's not very fondly remembered by a lot of people.
So literally, The Man with One Red Shoe came out right after Bachelor Party.
Wow. So, and Volunteers. Yeah. So, so right after Splash, same year as Splash.
Splash.
So Tom,
he was busy in the mid-'80s.
Very busy. Very, very busy.
He got 3 movies in 86, 87, 88.
Oh, Punchline. Punchline is funny. I like that.
He was busy in the 80s.
He was getting busy.
Yeah.
So he wasn't just, what was the Bosom Buddies?
Yeah, Bosom Buddies.
Bosom.
Him and Peter Scolari. Yeah, Peter Scolari.
You say so. So yeah, those are our what you haven't seen that when we start out the show next time.
Yes.
Dude, we're like the pillar of consistency here.
We are.
We've been putting out episodes consistently every 2 weeks for, like a month or so.
Yeah. We're like an antibiotic. You take those for 2 weeks.
We fight diseases. Like that's exactly how I want to be known as.
We fight diseases. Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
That guy's funny in everything he does.
You stopped me before I started getting into vaccination. Like
everything that guy says is hilarious.
And I think Bachelor Party is going to be really funny too. It's one of those deals where like it hasn't aged because I haven't seen it, so I'm going to see it for the first time. Unlike Revenge of the Nerds, which I don't know if I recorded our tangent on the Revenge of the Nerds. We'll see how well it holds up. I don't think he rapes anybody, except unless you count a horse. Does a horse get raped in that? I don't think Tom Hanks does it. Tom Hanks' career would have never rebounded if he actually raped a horse.
Yeah.
No, but I think the horse does like cocaine or something at one point. Like it looks hilarious. So yeah, I'm going to talk about Bachelor Party. Have you seen Bachelor Party?
Not in a number of. I think I watched that during my Blockbuster phase, so that would have been like 18 years ago.
I feel like I'm going to be in for a treat.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's been our whole entire episode.
That's been the whole kit and caboodle, as they say.
That is the whole fat, dirty hot dog. Hell yeah.
I did not anticipate that going in that direction, but I'm so glad that it did.
You would have never saw that coming.
Nope.
Fat, dirty hot dog.
Nope, I did not see that coming at all, but I enjoyed it.
Damn it, I love Emma Stone. But anyways, I've been Ron Avis.
I've been Adam, the other guy on this podcast.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
I've been Adam Peterson.
Are you Richard Simmons?
I feel like that's another one of our like long-running things. Like you got to work that. Peter Griffin in. Peter Griffin, you Richard Simmons. It's in.
Are you Richard Simmons?
Mitch, drive home safely, pal.
Drive safely, Mitch. We love you.
See you next time. I remembered on my own.
I'm glad you remembered.
Forgot. That's
because I forgot.
No, it's okay. It's been a while. 2 hours and 30 minutes. We're like pretty much right on our average.
We're back to. We're not crossing that